Okay. All right. We're gonna record for the other people. All right.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, everybody's a rock star, but especially Isaiah. He was on the winning team.
Yeah, winning team. Winning team.
Weeks in a row. Might I add.
Whoa, Lexi's talking smack, bro. Hey, y'all better get the poopa scoop on. Somebody's talking. Hey, all right. What you got? Okay.
I was just coming and looking.
Okay. All right, we gotta start. Okay, so you go be productive, go get it done. All right. I think that I'm screen sharing this guy, I'm pretty sure. All right. Y'all ready to rock and roll? Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let's do a quick recap on stuff, and then there's a whole lot of stuff to talk about. So, all right. So at this point, y'all have y'all schedules completely. Everyone open up to page, what page is that? 22? Okay, open that bad boy up. Okay, let's take a quick look. Okay, so. All right. What the hell, man? This thing ain't filled out.
I've been living in the 48 hours.
Hey, all right. Well, I want y'all living in the fast start. No, just hand me the thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, so at this point, okay, so today is Monday, right? So everybody look at today on page 25. So hopefully y'all got some demos lined up for tonight. Okay, because you're about to pop big because daddy is here with his toolkit and about to fix y'all up so y'all sell a whole lot. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so hopefully y'all have a handful today. How many do y'all have today? Show me with your fingers. All right. Wow. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. That's excellent. Y'all are about to pop big. So, all right. First random notes. You got stuff to write with?
Yeah.
Okay. So your paycheck weeks end when you go to bed on Monday. So everything you sell today is going to count for your first weekend paycheck. Okay. So let's write a few things down. So first thing I'd write down is your weeks end when you go to bed on Monday. Got it? Okay. Next thing I'd write down is that on Thursday afternoon around 3 p.m. is when they post all of your paychecks on Vector Connect. So I'd write Vector Connect. Y'all been on vectorconnect.com yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you go on vectorconnect.com, I would hit my account, my commissions. So vectorconnect.com. I always like to check them on Thursdays, and I'll tell you why in a second. So Thursday around 3 o'clock, Vector Connect, my account, my commissions, and then you'll see a line with like the amount of money going into your account. Click it, and it pulls up your entire paycheck. Make sure you click it because half the time these kids don't. They just see the little line. But when you pull it up, it'll say, "Oh, this lady bought 1,100, so 10% of it was 100." And the other 100 was at 15%. It breaks it all down for you. You with me? Okay, so always check that. And then the next thing I'd write down is that'll be posted Thursday around 3. Hey, did y'all all sign up for direct deposit? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Hey, all right, if you have not, sign up for direct deposit tonight. Okay, do you have a checking account?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so write that down today because Sarah didn't sign up her first week. And so they mail the paycheck on Friday from New York. They put it in the mailbox, right? And then you get it down here like Tuesday or Wednesday. Does that make sense? The following week? But when you're on direct deposit for everybody, I'd write down at 8 a.m. on Friday morning, every Friday morning, 8 a.m. payday. Okay, so the money will be automatically direct deposited. Just understand they always do something just like every job. They'll like direct deposit 1 penny first to make sure it goes through and then they direct deposit the rest. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so our weeks end when you go to bed Monday and you get paid every Friday. It takes about 3 days, right? Because it ends Monday. So it's got Tuesday, Wednesday, and half of Thursday to process all the orders, make sure that the billing address on their credit card matches the shipping address. Remember that anytime they pay with a credit card, say, hey, is this the address that the knives are getting mailed to? I'd write that down because I bet y'all don't do that. And so if 9 times out, probably 49 times out of 50, right, it is. But for example, if hypothetically my business credit card was associated with the office, and I was buying it on my business credit card and wanted it mailed to my house, then it's a problem order. Then the company has to call the customer. They need to get them on the phone. They need to get everything situated. It just becomes a headache that you could easily avoid. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, paychecks end when you go to bed on Monday. Technically, it's 6 a.m. Tuesday, just because of our offices in Hawaii. Hey, and then they process it Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, they'll post it. Friday, the money's in your account. Got it? Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
So we want to go hard in the freaking paint tonight, okay, to have a big fat paycheck, okay? Now, next, is flip to page 26, okay? So just to be completely transparent, like I told y'all, the people who were here this morning, hey, y'all, I'm about to fix y'all up, okay? So y'all are my favorite training class, okay? Now, I've had 4 and y'all are my favorite. Now, technically, y'all sold the least out of all of them. Are you with me? But you're my favorite. No one cares about what happened your first 2 days. I'm about to fix you up. I'm about to freaking dominate. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, I told Jaden to invite all of y'all because I love the heck out of y'all. It's in Orlando and I pay the bills, so I want my people there. Okay. All right. So are y'all did y'all all get the invitation for the
Yes.
conference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. So everyone else, what up? Pilot, okay? Now, all right, so what I would do, so tomorrow, the conference, okay, y'all wanna, it starts, y'all need to be there at 10:30, okay? So I'd write down, y'all need to be there at 10:30. I want y'all in suits and ties or dresses, looking nice, you know what I'm saying? Okay, this is professional, big boy conference, okay? So I'm coming there with the freaking polo, right? For y'all are good today, just like, you know, this right here, right? But tomorrow I'll be suited up and freaking ready to rip it with a tie. It's the only time I wear ties will be at a conference, okay? So I'm 43, I don't have to wear a tie anymore. No, but anyways, so we're gonna get done at 5. If y'all pull out some big sales today, if y'all can get over 5K, then I'll take y'all to dinner and pay for your dinner with all the top people tomorrow night across Florida. If you're less than, you're gonna have to pull up some at your yin yang tonight. Okay, you're gonna need to drop some bombs, right? Okay, if not, then y'all have a little team night out, and then everybody just, you know, y'all are on your own, but you know, get some food and chill as a team. Okay, now, now you're after that, you'll be on normal weekly schedule where it's just come in Wednesday at 6 and then Sunday at 5. Make sense? Now, your last advanced training will be 5 to 6 on Wednesday, where I'm basically just going to be, Jaden will be teaching you phone tips to get you ready to rock and roll so you can crush the phones Wednesday night and then dominate the back half of your fast start. And then you're completely wide open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You just need to be in at 5. And then Monday's your last day of your fast start. So you want to max it out. Make sense to everybody? Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, all right. So now we've gone over schedules. Okay. Now, you have one homework assignment. So if you flip to your manual on the very, very back cover, and here's the wonky on the back. I would assume, bam, right there. Okay, so AT1 assignment. Okay, so it says AT1. Okay, I want you to write, memorize your page 15 by Wednesday. Hey, so Jaden will be quizzing you on Wednesday, your page 15. You need to get page 15 down. I'm super proud of you guys for coming up early and getting my recommendations workshop, right? Okay, it ain't rocket science here, guys, right? Okay, so do what the things are that we went over there, and you should not get less than 10. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
You saw Sarah, that was just a perfect example, and then she literally had a demo right, and then bam, 21 recs. Does that make sense? And you saw Griffin this morning, right? He was sucking. I mean, I'm talking like 0s and 3s recommendations, like on like 5 or more in a row. You with me? And I'm like, dude, you don't have this thing down. Next morning, quiz them, boom, 10 on the next one. Does that make sense? It's not a question, right? Okay. Follow the recipe and you get the cake. Does that make sense? Okay. So I need y'all to have your page 15 down by Wednesday because I care about you and I want to make sure you're crushing it and getting those recommendations. So then we can be picky and choose who we want to spend our time with. Make sense? Yes, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then put your phones upside down. This is freaking my time. This is my time. Good. Now, okay, well, tell them to leave you alone till 2. Okay, now, okay, all right. Keep your eye on the prize with your fast start prizes. Okay, now Did y'all all recommend at least 100 people to the job board? I mean, some people have 50, but some people have like 300. How many people? Did y'all all win the veggie peeler? Thumbs up if you won the peeler. Okay. All right. No peeler. Okay. All right. How about steak knife? Thumbs up for steak knife. Okay. All right. So that gives y'all an unfair advantage, right? Y'all need to make sure that did he teach you how to roll the leather up tight like a freaking baseball and then have them slice it? That'll help you sell the bigger sets, guys. You with me? Okay. So um, once you're and look, 8K is kind of like everybody's gonna end up at different levels. You with me? But I would just, I really want y'all to be over 10 because every training class has had at least one 10K fast starter, and we don't want this one to be the one that doesn't, right? And of course, you want it anyways, right? But hopefully, we got some 15s because y'all are the first training class where everybody was 18. You all can all come. You know what I mean? You'll be 18 by then, Romeo. Now, but look, guys, the 8K, you get an entire freaking homemaker plus 8, and you have the 3 signature pieces. That's a big freaking deal. You with me? I mean, that's $2,000 worth of cut, and it's guaranteed forever, like you paid for it, and you got to keep it. So when you're freaking 40 years old rocking out, I mean, you're gonna be fired up about that. Your 40-year-old self is gonna say thank you to your today self for working hard for 7 more days. Does that make sense? And I am proud of you. Okay, I want you to know I am so proud of y'all. Jaden told me y'all were staying late phone jamming the first day of training and the second day, right? Almost all of y'all were in early this morning for the recommendations workshop. We're gonna be at y'all are about to get it, dude. Okay, so I'm super proud of you, but pick your level on your fast start and make sure that you hit it no matter what. Hey, you do have that extra little, it's kind of like in small print at the bottom, so I'm putting the arrow there so you see it. Any friends that launch from training this coming up seminar Thursday and Friday that you recommended, you get $1,000 credit towards your fast start for the Cutco prizes. Now, not the VIP night and not Cancun. You with me? But if hypothetically you sold 6K and 2 of your friends launched from training, right? Now you're at 8K and you got the homemaker and everything else. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, yes. So basically, make your friends come to their interviews because if they come to the interview, they're gonna want this freaking job. Make sense? And if they're like you, then we're gonna want them. Make sense? All right. Okay. So we've already gone over all of that. Okay. All right. And you've already done all of that. Okay. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to recognize where y'all are at right now. Okay. So let me pull up I'm gonna pull up okay. All right. So I'll screen share for the recording. All right. So Brandon, where are you, Brandon? Okay. All right. So Brandon, okay, so far at 1656. Okay, so he's done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appointments. Is that correct? Okay, 6 appointments at 1656. Let's give Brandon a round of applause. So, hey, my man got his first pay raise. Okay, it takes usually 6 months somewhere else for a dang quarter, right? Yeah, you got a 50% pay raise on your second day on the job, your first full day on the job, actually. Okay. So excellent job there. Okay. All right. Isaiah. Where's Isaiah? All right, Isaiah. Okay. So Isaiah is at 612 right now. And he's done 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you did 1 this morning. So 7. Now bottom line, he's 60%, 61.2% of the way to his first pay raise. You're gonna have your first pay raise today. Okay, let's give Isaiah a round of applause. Nice job, Isaiah. Okay, all right, Kaz. All right, so 40%. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 appointments so far. Okay, and halfway to the first pay raise. So let's give Kaz a round of applause. Miss London is doing PR calling for us right now, but she's over 400. So we'll give her 1 clap since she's in the other room. All right, watch. Okay, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that was perfect. All right, you ready? All right, 1, 2, 3. Gosh, I'm freaking good. Y'all are killing it. All right. Okay, Romeo. Okay, so not on the board yet. Okay, but also only done 3 appointments. You with me? But still, that shouldn't happen. Okay. Now, by the way, not busting them, right? Want to build them up. Okay, but hey, that's one thing that I want y'all to write with your random notes. y'all want to be focusing on face-to-face appointments. Okay. I don't know individual situations, but do you have a car, Romeo? Okay, so that's what the issue is. So he's just been doing virtual appointments, but listen, right? So go see some neighbors, right? You have a driver's license,
Yeah. No.
right? Okay, all right. So we want to hurry up and get a driver's license sooner than later. You with me? Okay. But until then, I'd probably focus on neighbors and stuff like that, right? See if some mom can drop you off or whatever. At the appointment if it's not too far away and pick you up type deal. Because here's the deal. Have y'all all done a virtual appointment at this point? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay. Have y'all all done face-to-face appointments? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay. Which one do you like better? Right? So, uh, here's the deal. Okay. Hey, I'm not pushing one of the, all right. Well, I guess I am pushing, right? I'm pushing face to face, right? Now, but both will work. Okay. But face to face is going to be more enjoyable for you, for 99% of you. And it will definitely 100% be more enjoyable for your clients, which will cause them to buy more and recommend more people. Make sense? So, what in an ideal world, if we all have a car and driver's license, right? Okay, then it would probably be like 90% face to face, 10% virtual. Does that make sense? And but if you start to focus in on this virtual, with out of town people, then all your recommendations are going to end up being out of town, and then you're going to end up being stuck on a computer. Does that make sense? And we're really not meant to be that way. God did not design us for that. Make sense? Now, so Romeo, I'd encourage you to get your first face to face ones in. And I think that you'll enjoy them a lot better, a lot more as well. All right. And then Tarek, I said it right, Tarek?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tarek, 62% of the way to his first payer. So either way, he's at 626 and he's done 1, 2, 3, 4 appointments. Okay. So let's give Tarek a round of applause as well. And then Mara is in the hospital. I'm trying to remember what Jaden said, but either way, she has some stuff going on. So, hopefully she'll be doing be doing okay and feeling better soon. Now, all right, so that's your training class right now. Now, okay, all right, for the conference tomorrow, okay, I'm giving away, don't write this yet, just look up for me. Okay, all right, I'm giving away, so I'm gonna do an arrive with 5 contest. So wherever your random notes are, I'd write arrive with 5. So when you show up at the conference tomorrow, and it's right there on the corner of Alafaya and Colonial, okay, so like 10 minutes from UCF type deal. Okay, there'll be a sign-in process, so we'll have everyone on a spreadsheet. You'll meet at the there'll be 2 tables set up at the beginning. Hey, you'll sign in, get a name tag. They're gonna say, show me your app to see how many appointments you have ahead. As long as you have 5 ahead, then you're gonna get a ticket. Every 2 over that, you'll get another ticket. We'll start off and doing arrive with 5 contest. So I've got this leather cheer sheath. Okay, so when you're doing your appointments, your shears fit in nicely. So it's very nice and professional when you're pulling out your shears to cut the penny. Do you want my shear sheath? Yes or no? All right, your 5 demos. Okay, now, all right, next I'm gonna be giving away this freaking roll up, and then I'm gonna open it up and stuff tomorrow. But it's a professional case that pretty much like a chef would carry their knives in. It opens up. It's got custom slots with sheaths for all of the knives in order of the homemaker, paring knife, trimmer, spatula, etc. Okay, so this right here is gonna be better, and you don't appreciate it as much now, but when you win all your fast start stuff, you're really gonna appreciate it. Okay, got a little carrying case and everything. Y'all want that? Yes or no? Y'all want a free vacuum peeler? Yes or no? Okay, so you can do the little dangle for your 20. Okay, all right, I'm gonna give one of those away. Hey, y'all want a cotton board so y'all can quit asking them for theirs? They're looking tacky. Okay, all right, this will fit in the drawstring bag as well. Okay. I'm gonna give away a red cheese knife. You want a red cheese knife? And of course you do, right? And I'll help yourself some ciggies. Okay. Hey, y'all want a freaking hunting knife? This thing is bad to the bone. Okay. So that's the big daddy. So I'm giving away these prizes tomorrow. Okay. So make sure you got 5 or more so you're in the drawing for them. Make sense? Yes, yes? Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. Now understand this concept. So let's get to the note taking, baby. Okay. So, all right. First thing. All right, I want you to write down 20% of people always buy no matter what. 20% of people buy no matter what. It could be literally the worst appointment in the world. And at least 1 out of 5 people are gonna buy because it's freaking Cutco, guys. Right? So it's like, dude, do you want to spend, just even thinking about one knife? By the way, I do this when I get down to one knife. Okay. But let's say the lady's 40. Okay. And then the average life expectancy is 80. So that means she's going to be cooking for another 40 years. If she replaces it every 2 years, that's 20 times she's going to replace it. Make sense? Let's say that she had a $15 Walmart knife and replaces it 20 times, right? She's going to waste $300 on stuff that she doesn't like. Does that make sense? Right? So it's like, why on earth wouldn't you buy a trimmer for like $90? Be split it over 2 months if you needed to, right? And be happy and save yourself $210. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? Like it only makes sense, right? And I'm gonna help y'all break that down today. So that'll help you make a sale on every appointment. But just so you know, 20% of people always buy no matter what. And next thing I'd write down is 10% of people never buy. And it is what it is. Now, I wouldn't stress it. Okay, just note 10% of people won't buy. Now, that's really more for recommendations when you get away from family and friends. And again, this is not a pressury type thing at all. I just want you to show the product, be excited, call on your appointment, and then Jaden should, and whoever answers the phone will either work out a deal for you or they'll say put me on speakerphone. They'll speak to the customer for you. Make sense? Now, but when you are seeing family and friends, because see, what you need to understand is whatever you start with is what you think is normal. You with me? And I'm telling you that it's not, right? I have kids that'll sell, ultimate signatures and whatever on each appointment when they're new sometimes, right? That's not going to stay like that, right? Okay. If you had 3 no sales, right? Well, that's not normal and it's not going to stay that way. You with me? Hey, but I just want you to know 10% of people won't buy. That's just what it is, right? But if you share your goals properly and you're trying and you care, I find it hard to believe that family and friends and people who know you won't get a dang cutting board. And my question to you would be, did you drop down all the way to one thing? You with me? Okay, because if you did, I find it hard to believe that someone wouldn't get something, right? I find it hard to believe grandma wouldn't buy a freaking veggie peeler from their grandkid. Does that make sense? Right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. But what I do want you to understand is that 70% is up to you, right? So I guarantee, and see, I need you to understand, I'd probably write this down. It's not your customer, it's you, right? Like if you think about it, if I did the appointment or Jaden did the appointment or Lee or Amelia or whomever, and let's say they bought nothing, I guarantee you we would have made a sale. 100%. It wasn't the customer, it was us. You with me? Hey, if I had Kadeem do the appointment, hey, who's going to be our guest speaker, he probably would have sold at least a homemaker, if not more. Does that make sense? Hey, on the same lady on the same demo that said whatever she said to you. Does that make sense? Now, so 70% is up to you. Now, what's nice is that when you bring your A game and you implement the tips that I'm giving you today, okay, and you take that 70% and you add the 20% that always buys, that will give you a 90% sales ratio. Our office average is 85, and we understand averages. Bottom people, are at like 70, top people are at like 95, and it's going to put us right around there. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Now, what I want you to write down is I control my destiny. I control my destiny. Okay, so I just want you to understand, that you control what they say at the end of the appointment. Okay, and you probably don't really, there's no way that you could fully grasp this concept right now, but understand you control what they say at the end, right? So no one's ever not made a sale where the customer didn't say one of 4 things. Either, and you don't need to write these because I'm going to do them in a minute with a slide, but my knives are fine, right? If they said my knives are fine, then you didn't do a good junk knife page, or they had Wusthofer, Hinkles, or Schoen, and we could have gone harder on the double D edge and definitely pots and pans, flatware, accessories. Make sense? So if they say in general, my knives are fine, and that means we didn't do a good junk knife page, right? If they say, oh, too expensive, I can't afford, right? That means that we didn't do a good names or value building page where we built the value higher than the price, where you polish it, present it like it's the most expensive thing in the world, right? If they said, not now, I want to think about it, I want to talk to my husband, basically, not now, I'll buy it later, right? Okay, then we didn't emphasize the 15-day money back guarantee. And we didn't emphasize the first call special as well as we should have, make sense? And if they ever say, oh, I don't think I'd use them all, right, then we didn't do a good job on the names and uses. No one's ever had a no sale, where they didn't say one of those four things, and you never will, and we control that based on our demo, make sense? We control what they say at the end based on our demo, does that make sense? Okay, now, so did everyone right, I control my destiny? Okay, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so I control my destiny. Now, I don't care how you started, okay, so everybody look up for me. Look at me, right here. I don't give a poop how much you sold your first weekend. It makes zero poops to me. Make sense? Hey, I've been doing this a long time. I've had kids, hey, they didn't even sell anything their first weekend and have 10K fast starts. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so it doesn't really matter. All I wanted you to do was get ideally 5 to 10 appointments under your belt. So now I can teach you stuff. Hey, and it makes sense because you have experience doing appointments and now it makes sense, right? See, if you never did an appointment, and I teach you stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I know I know that, right? Okay, now that you're doing it and I go over, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't do it quite like that. Oh, I could do it a little bit better with this, etc. So I can teach you based off of experience versus a classroom setting. But just so you see, all of these people did over 10K for their fast start. So the blue is day 1 through 3, which basically means what they sold Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? The red is 4 through 10, right? And then 4 through 7, and the green is 8 through 10. Make sense? So Caleb only sold 17, $100 his first weekend. But look at that, he sold 7 grand between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Does that make sense? This coming up weekend for you, right? This person right here, Sean, right? Right, he crushed it in the middle, right? So basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Okay, so just a bunch of different examples of people and what they sold and how they got to their 15K or their 10K or whatever the case may be. So I just want, by the way, Malachi, right? So, he only sold 10K for his fast start, and then for a conference, he ended up for a SC2 push. He sold over 50,000 and broke the record. Hey, the guy sold $95,000 his first summer on the job. Okay, now, so anyways, just a ton of examples. All right, next thing I want you to write down is don't go through the motions. Never in your life should you ever go through the motions. So don't go through the motions. Okay, what would be an example of where you could go through the motions with your demos? All right, I will just tell you. Okay, all right, so here's what I mean by don't go through the motions. Okay, so really what you can do, okay, is you can just kind of think about your business like a big funnel. Okay, so maybe I'll draw a little funnel. Okay, so the very top of our funnel is to generate HM3 numbers. Okay, so and I want y'all to literally draw this funnel. We're gonna put probably like 5 things down like throughout it, so draw it big enough for at least 5 or 6 lines. Okay, so first thing is to generate HM3 phone numbers, right? So, well, how can you go through the motions there? Hey, mom, dad, can you give me some people? Right? How freaking lame is that, right? Versus, hey, mom and dad, hey, mom, where's your cell phone? Here, can I see it real quick? Let's go to contacts. All right, hey, let's go literally A through Z through every single person in your phone and identify who's a homeowner married over 30. I get $20 just to practice. Right? Oh, Amanda, Amelia, Andrea, right? Whatever. Who else has got an A, right? Brenda, Betty, right? Whatever, right? Okay. A through freaking Z people, right? Now, who can honestly say that you've literally had the phone in your hand and you scrolled literally through every single contact, A through Z, a thumbs up or thumbs down? All right. Now, so listen, I'm not here to bust your chops. I'm here to help you get better. The fact that, and again, I'm not trying to get on you, right? But what the heck, right? We went over this on Thursday, right? But for the recording, 0 people have done it. Now, so Thursday night we talked about it, right? Now, for all I know, your mom's out of town and your dad's out, right? Yours is in Spain, right? Both of them, right? Who cares? FaceTime. Let's go figure out what the time zones. Make sense, right? It's not like I don't communicate with my wife and kids when I'm in Europe. Does that make sense? So you set it up with the time zones, it's fine, right? Now, but we gotta make it happen, right? And again, I'm not busting anybody's chops again. Like I was saying, maybe your family's out of town, then I remembered yours was, right? Or is. Who cares? You gotta find a way, right? So maybe somewhere else to the side, I'd write find a way or find an excuse. Right? So find a way or find an excuse, right? Because that's what your job, like every day, that's your decision to make. Either find a way to make things happen. I'm not even talking about Cutco, right? Either find a way or find an excuse. It's up to you. You see what I'm saying? But you don't want to be finding excuses here because it's going to directly affect your paycheck and your advancement. Make sense? So, all right. So to generate the HM3 numbers, right? So then somewhere to the side, maybe flip to a new page, right? To-do list, right? Or head go to your assignments. You can just go to your assignments on the back of your manual. Okay. So I'd write down underneath AT1. A through Z on mom and dad's cell phone, and then whoever else loves you the most, right? I would assume maybe it'd be like maybe an aunt, like your mom's best friend or something. You with me? Okay, so you want to go through 2 to 3 ladies, an HM3 ladies phone, A through Z, or dad if he has women in it. But guys are mainly going to have guy phone numbers. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so that right there, that we right, and again, I'm not busting chops, right? But that's crazy, right? I had over 100 HM3s. I had 0 on day 1. We didn't even have a names list assignment, right? On day 2, I had over 100 HM3s. I put several hours into it. You know what I mean? And I went A through Z through my mom's black book because we didn't have a cell phone. And I went through the entire A through Z of the church directory. And then I got some soccer little foam trees that we had back then, but a sports roster for soccer teams and baseball teams had over 100. Do you know how awesome it was phone jamming when you have over 100 HM3s that know of you or your mom? You see what I'm saying? They all say yes, right? Dude, I was destroying. You see what I'm saying? And I wasn't the best sales rep when I started. I was just really great with recommendations. But that took me at least a week or two. You know, it's not like we had these workshops like, you know what I mean, back then, right? But all I'm getting at is that I did 13 appointments my first weekend. I sold 3 grand back when it was half the price. You see what I'm saying? And the reason is because I did a lot of appointments. I worked hard. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not saying other people that y'all didn't work hard. What I am saying, hey, this is an example of going through the motions of, oh, I'll just get a handful. That would be one example, right? So the other things, if you still haven't put this down on your assignments, it's like mom and dad cell phone A through Z, and then one other woman that loves you cell phone A through Z, like Aunt Susie. Hey, but the other thing would be your mom's Facebook direct messaging people, right? So I've even you already took a picture and opening comments of the of a picture and then the exact verbiage to use, right? So you need to just copy paste, bam, 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 right? And that's not even something that we need mom for. It's just you could text your mom right now. What's your Facebook login? I want a direct message. Hey, this verbiage. You see what I'm saying? If mom's in Spain, you with me? Okay, but those are like 2 basic things that should have already happened. And if we don't hurry up and do it, then it's going to hurt you and it's not going to allow you to have the fast start that you desire. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So generating HM3 numbers, right? The next thing. So once we have numbers, the next thing, and we can kind of just go like this, right, would be phone, right? So how can you go through the motions with the phone? Well, we could just do the opposite of what Jaden taught you, right? You could try to book with a man. Well, guess what? You're gonna get rescheduled on because he doesn't know the dang schedule, right? He might even say no, because men are jerks, they don't care about helping you with your scholarship. Hey, we want to watch football. Does that make sense? No, I know there's no football on right now, but you know what I'm saying, right? So you can ways to cut corners and go through the motions, right? Because see, every day you get to decide either I'm gonna cut a corner, I'm gonna show up and do it the right way. You see what I'm saying? And that's the decision that you got to make. But the difference here, the same freaking Chick-fil-A, man, we ain't making freaking French fries, right? If Chick-fil-A, I would expect you to go through the motions because they're not paying you to care. You see what I'm saying? It's like, here's 13 bucks, make French fries. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so you don't really care. You're not incentivized to care. You don't have a goal for the day on, we want to sell 900 French fries today. Do you see what I'm saying? Right. Okay. But here it is a direct reflection on your paycheck and you do want to care. So when it's time to make phone calls, okay, well, how could you go through the motions? We could not have our numbers organized. So if you don't know these things, then you need to make sure that you organize your phone numbers. Y'all know how to organize them in a call list? Do you or not? Because last week's training class did not know, and they showed up Wednesday and all their stuff was unorganized. You want to make sure that you have them organized in a call list from top to bottom, from who you think will buy the most to the least. Do you all know how to do that or do you not? Okay, I'm gonna have Jaden show you how to do that right at the end. Okay, so organize attack list. Okay, because here's what I know, right? When you don't have your numbers organized, like if you should be making, here would just be random tips for everyone I would write with, I'd write phone. Everybody write the phone. Okay, just write phone and underline it somewhere, not in this funnel. Okay, so phone, right? So number one, okay, is that you want to have an organized attack list. Okay, and what that means is from top to bottom, who's going to buy the most of the least. And you would have a good idea based on, you know, their income, where they live, do they like to cook, etc. Right? But the other thing is that you want to know that you should be making 20 to 25 calls per hour. Okay, so I'd write that down. So for example, Wednesday night will be your first quote unquote big phone jam because it's big to you when you're new, right? But and we're gonna make 50 calls, right? Because the team meeting will be like 6 to 6:30, 6:45, and we'll make calls until probably around 9, right? So it's about 2 hours of calls. So you want to have on Wednesday, you want to have a top 50 list, right? Now, so maybe you're thinking, oh, Trey, I only have 25 HMCs because you started going through mom's cell phone A3C. Does that make sense? Or send the direct messages, right? But for your phone tips, I'd have them organized, who I think will buy the most to the least. Hey, if I know I'm gonna make 2 hours of calls, I want to have my top 50 already organized, and I'm just gonna focus on them, right? And then it would be stay on task, right? Because you know you're gonna make good friends here, right? Here would be a tip for you when you're phone jamming: don't sit beside your buddy. Does that make sense? Because you know it's like it'd be like I'm trying to lose weight, and I'm gonna put a cake. I'm gonna bring a cake home. You know I'm gonna want to eat that cake, right? So when it's time to make phone calls, your goal is just hurry up, get in, get booked up, and roll. Does that make sense? So I'm not gonna sit beside a person that I'm gonna be tempted to talk to, because then I'm gonna end up talking to them and not Ms. Jones, and I'm gonna book less demos. Make sense? Right? What else on the phone? I mean, how can you not go through the motions, right? Make sure that you always talk to the wife, right? Make sure that you're bringing it with energy, right? Make sure that you stick to the script. Make sure that you firm up the appointments. Right, which means having them write it down on a piece of paper, right, or in their calendar, right? So you've got to make them write it in their calendar. You got to give them the confirmation number, right? You've got to do these things, hey, so you don't get rescheduled, right? Now think about it. Hey, if you book 8 million demos and you only complete 3, how many do you get paid for? 3. Sorry, I wanted to grab these updates real quick now. All right, so I know that on. Okay, so on Saturday, okay. You're pulling up, I'm gonna take that freaking thing. Now, I will treat y'all like my child. Now, right, no, y'all don't need to look at anything, just look at me, right? But on, as a group, as a whole, y'all had 34 appointments scheduled on Saturday. Y'all completed 17. Y'all completed half of them. What does that tell me? Hey, that either people were booking with husbands, right? You're just like, okay, so Saturday at 2 work. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. And you didn't even make them write it down, right? You didn't give the confirmation number, right? These are the things that happen. And see, sometimes, right, you have to like touch the stove and get burned to realize don't touch the freaking stove again. Does that make sense? And y'all got burnt with not with your lack of demos completed on Saturday. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to show you this caused that. So let's not do this again. So that way we can make twice as much money because you had half of your demos got completed. Does that make sense? You with me? Okay. So All right, so that would be the stats there. So back to the phone, right? So we've got to make sure that we're firming up the appointments. We'll go over that in a minute. Okay. That would be an example of how we could go through the motions on phone calls, right? Then I would write down on the next part of this funnel, your demo, right? So how could you cut corners and go through the motions on your demo? Well, we could be tired or hungover, because you partied until 3 a.m. I'm not saying that y'all do that. I'm just giving an example that college kids could relate to, right? And I'm hungover and it's 9 a.m. and I feel like death. Well, you're probably not going to sell a lot. Does that make sense? Because you're not bringing it, right? Okay. So you could not bring food to your appointments. That would be so silly. How are we going to sell knives and not cut food? Do you see what I'm saying? You should bring grapes and carrots on every appointment. If you didn't know that, I would write that down. Hey, grapes and carrots on every appointment, no matter what. I'll pay for your rope and leather. You pay for your grapes and carrots, right? And by the way, I don't care if it's a virtual demo, by the way, right? You still need to cut grapes on your appointments and adjust the camera so they can see it on the cutting board. You with me? Now, but listen, the other thing with grapes, fill me on this. Do you think I know how to do this on a budget? Yes or no? Absolutely. You don't have to buy the $6 bag of grapes. They weigh them, right? So literally, you know how they have the little plastic bags, you pull it off and put your apples in or whatever? You can do the same thing with grapes. So just pluck 10 grapes, stick it in there. They weigh it out. It's a quarter. Does that make sense? And you can get the little bag of 5 carrots. It's 99 cents. Do you see what I'm saying? That'll last you for 5 demos. Make sense? Hey, but you've got to dissect that freaking grape into 10 slices because it doesn't just sell the trimmer, it sells all of the double D edges, right? Hey, you've got to have them peel a carrot so I can dangle it for the 20 recommendations. You see what I'm saying? How am I going to be like, hey, Ms. Jones, I know you've never used this veggie peeler, but I promise it's cool. If you give me 20 recommendations, I'll give you something that you've never used and you don't know if you like it or want it for free. Do you want to give me 20 recommendations? Like that just sounds stupid. Does that make sense? Get it in her hand. She falls in love with it, right? And then guess what? Boom, 20 recommendations. Make sense? Okay. So as far as the demo, right? Are you pumped up when you get there, right? You should be jamming out to whatever pumps you up. So I'm a country music man now, but back when I was your age, do y'all know the group Outkast?
Yes.
Dude, that would just pump me up. You with me? Okay. So I'm jamming out on the way there. It's like my happy, upbeat, fire me up music. I am fired up to go see Miss Jones, right? So I'm jamming out on the way there. I'm excited. I got my food to cut up. I got everything ready to rock and roll. And I'm just gonna bring it. Does that make sense? Right? Those are things you can do on your demo, right? Okay, you can work on making sure that you're making the yucky face on the junk knife page. You can make sure that you actually count their knives when it says to go take a field trip in the kitchen and count their knives. Like, did you do that? Right? If not, then you're saying, I have no idea how many knives you have, but normal people have 20, and here's how much they spend over the next 30 years. Like, well, I don't take ownership of that number if I'm your customer. You need to count mine and show me how much I'm doing. So if yours is less than that and it saves me money, I'm gonna buy yours. You see what I'm saying? Right? You get to decide whether you polish each knife and present it to them like they teach, like Jaden taught you, right? You got to decide, hey, whether you're cutting food with each knife that you do have, right? You decide whether you get your clothes down and your recommendation approach memorized, right? You decide these things, right? So but just know that you want to bring it. Anytime you cut corners, you cut your paycheck, right? Maybe that's something I'd write to the side. Anytime you cut corners, you cut your paycheck, right? None of us are here to be average. We're here to cook booty. Hey, so don't cut corners there, right? Then, hey, the last part really would just be Rex, bless you. Recommendations, and we already did the recommendation workshop today, so I don't need to spend any more time on that one. But look, okay, eventually, it just stays in this circle. Recommendations, phone calls, demos, Rex, phone demo, Rex, phone demo, Rex. And as long as you're bringing it and you care, which you're directly incentivized to do, hey, then you're about to dominate the living snot out of this. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you don't need to write this. I just want you to get the concept. Okay. But rep A, which is nobody in this room, don't read into something like this is not you. Okay. But there's some nut job in America Okay, right? And they're like, I just care about my base pay. I just want my $20 for each appointment, right? They don't care. They're going through the motions, right? Their customers aren't getting stuff, which is really hurting the customer. See, that's another thing I'd write down is that you need to understand the customer is the real winner when they buy, not you. So it's really a win-win, I guess, because you obviously get paid and make commission on it. I just need you to understand that your customer is the true winner. Like you need to know that. I'm gonna throw y'all a highlighter. That's probably the first thing I'd highlight. Don't go through the motions. Okay, and I'd write the customer is the true winner and when they buy. See, think about this. Let's say, and by the way, if you love your customer, you want them to buy a set. Why is it better for your customer to buy a set?
Cheaper.
It's less expensive because it's discounted. They get a 10 to 30% off. So the homemaker's like 1,600. If you had a lady buy one knife a month type deal, right? She's gonna end up spending probably 2,200. Does that make sense? So it's like buy it in bulk, get a discount, right? Why else do you, if you love them, do you want them to buy it? Why is it better for them to buy a set?
Free stuff.
Free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? And then on top of that, free Cutco, right? So discount, free Cutco. What else? Right? It's got the storage option, so it'll be safer, so they don't have to worry about cutting themselves. Because if they just buy individual pieces, it comes with this little cardboard sheet. They ain't gonna keep that cardboard sheet for 10 years. Now that knife is sitting in the drawer exposed. When they're looking for a knife, double the edge will find them. Make sense? Okay. Right. And then the other thing, that it's more enjoyable because they have the right tool for the right job. Because think about it, if you only have one good knife like a trimmer, you're using it to dice an onion, you're using it to try to cut through frozen meat, you're trying to cut through ribs and stuff, all these things that is not supposed to be used for, right? As a matter of fact, one of my friends sent me a video, my buddy George, his wife Pam, right? And we're tight too, but here's the point. She was like, I don't know. She sent me a she sent Meredith and I a video of her with the cheese knife, right? Because she loves her cheese knife, right? Okay. But the woman was cutting like a freaking melon, or it was literally a watermelon, right? A freaking watermelon, right? And clearly, if the watermelon's this big and the knife is this big, then it's not gonna cut, right? She's like, oh, look at that. And then she has to use her hands through. I'm like, oh my God, woman, get a freaking Mr. Nasty, right? Like, seriously, oh my goodness, right? Now, anyways, the point is that she only has a cheese knife and then something else small, like a paring knife or something, right? Okay, so that is just a nut move, right? Now, so moral of the story, okay, is we want to make sure that we're selling sets, because it's discounted, they get free stuff, they got the storage so it's safer, and they have the right tool for the right job, right? But see, you need to have those 4 things written down so you can just vomit it out, right? Just spit it out, right? Miss Jones, oh, so the homemaker's a little too much for your budget. Hey, I get it. Cutco's expensive. Hey, but I want you to understand that it's worth every single penny. Hey, now we do have other set options that I can show you, but Miss Jones, I highly encourage that if you like Cutco, hey, if you want it, if you use it, hey, that you get a set. And the reason that it's really important that you get a set is because you get the built-in discount. Hey, and it's because you can get free stuff. It's because you have the safety with the storage and you have the right tool for the right job. Ms. Jones, you got to think about it. This set you're going to be using every day for the rest of your life. Your kids will get it handed down to them every day for the rest of their life. Your grandkids will be using it every day for the rest of their life. We want to make sure that you have a good set, for all of your generations to come. See, if you want to sell big sets, get your customers looking long term. I would star that. I would highlight that. I talked about it in the high flyer workshop on Friday. Okay, but get your customers looking long term. So if you get them looking long term, they will buy bigger sets. And like straight up, guys, if I did not even make 1 penny in commission, I would want everyone in my family to at least have a homemaker. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Okay, if you do, right, then it will show in your sales results. Does that make sense? Because you're gonna sell what you believe in, right? That's the next thing I'd write down. You're gonna sell what you believe in. Hey, and I'll just be completely transparent with y'all, as I always will be for every day of your life and every conversation we ever have. Okay, by right, you're gonna sell what you believe in. You can't sell something you don't believe in, because it would feel fake. You with me? All right, so y'all ready for, it's embarrassing, but y'all ready for story time? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so in 1999, okay, all we had was a homemaker. Okay, I believed in the homemaker, and I sold when I got good, 1 out of every 3 appointments bought a homemaker. Does that make sense? So if I had 6 appointments for the day, I knew I was at least selling 2 homemakers. Does that make sense? Now, in the year 2000 is when we came out with the complete set. Now, we didn't have steak knives, they were only still table knives at this point. Back then, the complete set was called the Ultimate 2000 because it was in the year 2000. You with me? I did not, as a nut, it was very, very different back then, training and coaching and the work, right? But just know, I did not familiarize myself at all with the bigger knives, right? I was already convinced in my head, my stupid 17-year-old head, that the homemaker is good enough, right? And so how many Ultimates do you think I sold that summer? 0, because I didn't believe in it. You see what I'm saying? Hey, and then what happened is I'm talking with my other Cutco buddies, right? And they're like, what do you use when this? I'm like, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you need to get this knife for that. What happened is me as my 18-year-old self, after that summer when I went off to college, like back to college as a sophomore, right? I ended up buying this individual, like the Hardy Slicer hypothetical, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's so much better for cutting through heavy duty stuff than trying to whack with Mr. Right. Okay. And then I ended up adding on all these things. And then I had a homemaker, but the rest of the ultimate pieces in my drawer like a nut job. And I knew that everyone needed 12 table knives or steak knives because 8 really is kind of weird, just so you understand. Now, because if you got me and my wife and 2 kids, there's no chance that the 8 table knives made it for more than a day. We all used one at dinner. There's 4. You know that people used it for breakfast and snacks throughout the day or making sandwiches. You see what I'm saying? So either way, my point, then I had the homemaker and all the rest of the pieces in it. I believed in the pieces. So then I just needed the block and then I had the set. Hey, and then what do you think happened with my confidence that people should own the complete set? It went way up. So what do you think I sold more of? Exactly, right? So you're gonna sell what you believe in, because you can't, if you have integrity, you can't look someone in the eyes and tell them they should get something that you don't believe in. Does that make sense? And what you gotta understand, is this right here is for any freaking body. You with me? Hey, straight up, I've had college kids, hey, help out with active advertising, because in the fall and spring. Hey, also, by the way, we have you have one more, this is the last week of high school graduations. If y'all want to help hand out letters to them when they go or in their single file line leaving, I'll pay you $15 an hour in Cutco bucks, and you can just save them up and buy stuff and add on to your thing. But here's the point: I had a kid in Clemson when I was in Greenville, South Carolina, and he would go. He didn't even work with me. He was one of my top guys. He was one of my assistant managers' roommates in college, and he just loved Cutco because Chris would cut stuff. He's like, "Dang, these things are awesome." His whole goal was to have a homemaker +8 by the time he graduated college. So he would help active advertise at Clemson. I never even met him because Clemson was a 45-minute drive. And bottom line, the kid ended up graduating with a homemaker +8. He would wake up at 7 a.m. to write on chalkboards and hang up posters to end up getting a homemaker +8, right? All of y'all should at least understand that even a college kid really needs a homemaker +8, much less a dang grown woman with kids that cooks. Does that make sense? Okay, now, but backing it all up, okay, a person who doesn't care. So, but realize you want your customers, if you literally did not get 1 penny in commission, right? You care about the person, you want them to at least have a homemaker. Okay. If they like to cook, then I mean, really at least a Siggy. And I believe that I like the steak knives better. And so does my wife, and she likes the small cute knives, and she even likes the steak knives better. Well, that doesn't come in the homemaker, right? It's got to be a Siggy or a complete if you want the steak knives. Everybody wants their dang scissors on the block too, right? Now, but rep 8 doesn't care. They're just going through the motions, right? They do 10 appointments a week because they're working part-time. See, another thing that I would write down, okay, back to your random side notes, right? Part-time is 10 appointments a week. Right now, you just want to go hard for your fast start, but after your fast start, no, part-time is 10 appointments a week, full-time is 20. Okay, think about this. Let me just break it down for you, right? So if your appointments took an hour and a half because of the drive time and they were chatty, right? 10 times 1.5 is 15 hours, right? Okay, then you have a 30-minute team meeting. Right, and a 30-minute PSP, 15-minute group, 15-minute one-on-one. Okay, so now you're at 16 hours, and it's gonna take about 4 hours of phone time. Okay, to make sure that you get those 10, because you're probably gonna need a book like 12 to complete 10. Does that make sense? Okay, well, that puts you at 20 hours. So 10 appointments is 20 hours. Okay, if you said Chick-fil-A, I want a part-time job, what they hear obviously is I want to work 20 hours. If you say Chick-fil-A, I want to work a full-time job, what they hear is 40. Does everyone understand 20 is part-time, 40 is full-time? Yes? Okay, so after your fast start, that's what you want to decide. Do I want to be at 20? Hey, 10 appointments a week for part-time, or do I want to be at 20 for full-time, right? And really, it's gonna end up being about the same. This would end up being like 39 or something. Does that make sense? Okay, now. All right, but. All right, so y'all got that, okay, all right, okay, so 10 part-time, okay, 20 full-time. Remember all those examples I gave you when you work hard for your fast start and you're 30%, you could do 2 a day. Remember all those examples? It was like Sunday, pool day, right? Then turn your paperwork, right? Okay, Monday, pool day, do 2 appointments. Tuesday, pool day, do 2 appointments. Wednesday, pool day. Hey, no appointments because we got a team meeting. Thursday, pool day, do 2. Friday, take the day and go to the beach, right? Saturday, do 4, like at least work half a day. Does that make sense, right? Okay, now, all right, so Route D, who absolutely is below average on every category, only sold 6 out of 10, $300 average order. I'm just going with like really off numbers. And for the video, by the way, it's only because I didn't change it to 400. I need to change it in Social G. Okay, now, anyways, so it should have been 400 there. Okay, but here's the deal. Bottom line, though, at least sell 21K for the summer to make 5,500. Point is that they worked the exact same amount of hours, right? But this person, hey, made about 2.5 times more money. Same time invested. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so I want you not thinking like a clock in, clock out person and start thinking like a business owner. I want you to write down business owner mindset versus employee mindset. This one's super important. Business owner mindset versus employee mindset. And life, really the only thing that matters is results. Your mom doesn't care how many hours you studied. She cares, did you get an A on the test? Make sense? Right? Your your girlfriend doesn't care if you eat cake all day, do you look good in a bathing suit? Does that make sense? I mean, if you got a good metabolism, great. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so at the end of the day, business owner versus employee mindset. Employee mindset is let me do as little as possible without getting fired. Business owner mindset is what are the little extra things I can do? They'll give me big dividends. Now, everybody look up for me. Hey, that one, I loved y'all's vibes from the beginning. Okay, when we met for the first time on Thursday, I'm like, dude, I love these people. We're gonna have a great time. And the reason that y'all are my favorite training class is because y'all are hungry and y'all are putting in little extra things like coming in this morning for the recommendation workshop and the high flyer workshop on Friday, right? You keep doing these little things, it's going to be big. Okay, so y'all already are establishing the the business owner mindset. Hey, so for example, right, like Kadeem Sandals, who's my #1 guy, y'all. I'm so excited for y'all to meet him tomorrow. He's on $3.4 million in personal sales. This guy is unbelievable. He's selling 600 grand plus a year and making 300 grand a year. This isn't like a little kid, right? This is a grown man who's married and pays his mortgage with this. Does this make sense, right? Business owner. Oh, okay. Everybody feel me on this. This guy, he didn't just wake up this good, right? He'll literally pay out of his own pocket, pay to go fly across the country, okay, and go work with a guy named Curtis J. Cukes, right? This guy sells $1 million a year, right? He was the first one. I think he was the first rep in the history to do $1 million in sales in 1 year. Think about that. He's averaging 20 grand a week for every week of the year. You see what I'm saying? And he takes a lot of vacations too. You with me? My point is, so Kadim's like, well, heck, this guy's killing it. I will pay money out of my pocket, fly across the country, and just follow you around and shadow you for 3 or 4 days, pick your brain, and fly back. Hey, so I can take this knowledge and implement it to my business because I know it's going to pay me handsome dividends. Does that make sense? Right? Hey, I spend thousands of dollars going on conferences, etc. Right? So anytime you have something like that and you get the opportunity to sharpen that axe, right? You want to be sharpening that axe because you're going to chop that tree down a whole lot faster. Does that make sense? So always have a business owner mindset versus the employee mindset. All right, next thing I want you to write down is I must have long-term vision. And I want you to highlight that as well. I must have long-term vision. I must have long-term vision. I must have long-term vision. Okay, now I must have long-term vision. So understand every small cell, every medium cell, and every large cell is getting you closer and closer to dirty 30. And it's getting you closer and closer to your fast start goal. And it's getting you closer and like how high can you be by the end of the summer? Right? Will you be at 40%? Will you be at 35%, or will you be at 45%? Right? 45% is 50K. And again, I don't know. I assume that number sounds scary to everybody. I'm just telling you that I can get you to 50K by the end of the summer if you want to work hard. You know what I mean? It happens every year. It's nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Now, but okay, having long-term vision, right? If rep A just continues part-time with 10 appointments a week, they'll make 3,600 in the fall because it's 18 weeks, right? Rep B is going to make 12,800. And that's literally just doing the exact same things, same amount of hours, but 4 times more pay. Make sense? Hey, so we get paid to care. So let's sharpen the axe. Next thing I need to freaking smash for you, especially your training class. Hey, in all capital letters, I want you to write normal people can afford a homemaker plus 8. Normal people can afford a homemaker plus 8. I don't care where you're from, what walk of life you're from, and I don't care if you grew up in the dang projects, okay, which none of you did. Okay, but if you did, they can buy a freaking homemaker plus 8. So don't think that you're suburban housewives, okay, can't get a freaking homemaker. They could sneeze out a homemaker all freaking day. Now, what does a homemaker break down to? Isn't it $90 a week? Right? You gotta be kidding me. Hey, I mean, holy smokes. Okay. I literally just got, so if I order, I like the sesame chicken, okay, with the house rice, because it's got the chicken, fried pork, and the shrimp. Freaking monster Chinese. Anyways, okay. So I order that with an egg roll, right? A little combo, right? Okay. My Meredith's mom was in town this weekend. Hey, she gets the General Tso's chicken, right? Hey, and then another sesame chicken. Hey, ends up being it was like 65 or $70 with the delivery and a $5 tip. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so $70 there. Okay. Then the next day, okay, I needed to take Meredith. All right, so $70 on some free. That's for Chinese, guys. Okay, it's not like we went. Okay. Okay. All right. Actually, let's just go through Trey's weekend. Okay. So, all right. So on Friday, boom, Chinese, right? So $70, right? Okay. Who cares? Right. Right. We're freaking adults. We have jobs, right? Could care less, right? Then, and my wife is awful with money, so y'all don't need to repeat that. But okay, so she's good at finding good deals, but she just doesn't. Either way, moral of the story. Okay, she needs to get 4 new tires because I'm literally driving her SUV, right? And it's like rattling, right? I'm like, what the heck is going? Woman, when's the last time you checked your tires, right? Okay, so anyways, so we needed to go get new tires, right? So 4 new tires for this SUV, right? And so the cheapest one was to go through Sam's Club. They have a tire department there. Everyone else was like 1,200. They were like 839 or something like that. So now we'll call it $840 for tires. Now that's going to last us a long time, right? But and I just pay it. Now, by the way, if I was like broke, right, which I'm clearly not, but let's just say I was broke. They don't have like payment plans, I'm pretty sure, right? But you have to get tires. Do you see what I'm saying? We're freaking adults. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? Okay, so there was 840. Oh, hell, let's just see what happened here. Okay, so Chinese was what, around 65, 70? We'll just call it 65 on some Chinese. All right. Okay, then all right, so tires, it was like 800 and we'll call it 35. Okay, for Merida's tires. Right? Then we didn't even go anywhere fancy. Meredith's mom just wanted to stay. And Outback had or I'm sorry, Bonefish had a longer wait and I wasn't doing it. So we went to Outback, right? But for her mom's steak, my steak, Huston, my little freaking 10-year-old twin lobster tails, we split it. So I'll get the big porterhouse and he'll get the twin lobster tails, and then I'll eat one lobster and give him half my steak. Does that make sense? Yeah, we got a routine going. Okay. All right. Okay. And then Meredith's little steak, and then dessert, and they messed it up, so they gave us dessert for free. But whatever. And it was around 140 bucks for some Outback. We're not even talking something fancy. Okay. And then we finished up our football season and everybody throws in 20 bucks as an adult, right? For the coach, for our little Hudson's little flag football team, right? Okay. So either way, I'm pretty sure that there was more stuff. Oh, then I got some pizza. I love Marco's pizza. I really love Marco's pizza. Y'all ever eat Marco's? Marco's pretty good. They got that Magnifico pizza with our pepperoni and stuff. So you get a large one with a ton of pepperoni, and they're like only $9.99 or something for a large one. They're really freaking good. I do not like, so I do like Papa John's. Papa John's are a little thin crust when you get it cut in squares. Dude, it's like an amazing potato chip with awesomeness. Okay, I get down with that, but I don't get down with the others. Anyways, okay, so 20 bucks for the coach's gift, right? Then I got some pizza, which was like maybe, I don't know, just got 30 bucks on pizza, after tip and whatever, right? So I don't know. That's just what I can. And then I had one thing I need. I'll just leave it at that. It doesn't even matter. So where are we at here? 900, 1,040, and 1,060. All right, so $1,090. Now I get it. Normally I wouldn't have the tire thing, right? But there's other things. Hey, like a thing that converts the wattage from the house, like 120 volt goes in and 12 comes out to the lights in the backyard. The thing it broke, I needed to get a new one, and whatever. It was like, I don't know, 80, 90 bucks or something. But no one cares. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're adults. We make a lot of freaking money. Do you see what I'm saying? Everybody can buy a freaking homemaker. It's freaking 90 bucks. Do you see what I'm saying? Hey, do you understand? Right? And this isn't again, not in an aggressive way, but every single sale or on every single appointment, a sale is made. Either they're selling you that they can't get it, they can't afford 90 bucks a week, or you're selling them that yes, you can. I'm not stupid. I was born at night, but not last night. Does that make sense? You with me? Now you don't say it like that. I'm going to teach you how to say it, right? But my point is that if you actually believe that someone with a freaking job, a full-time job, that lives in a house, can't afford freaking 90 bucks, okay, then you are missing some screws up here. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so understand that. Now, 90 bucks a week, anyone can get it. All right, you ready for story time? Yes or no?
Sir,
Story time, everybody. Now, you innovators do not misinterpret. So just give me some eyeballs here. I promise, like, I was a little rambunctious when I was a teenage boy. Does that make sense? I think most of us probably were. Okay. Now, here nor there. Okay. With Cutco, I literally did every single thing my manager said. I am not kidding. And it's the only time in my entire life where an adult's like, you should do this. I'm like, I'm going to do it. Are you with me? Usually it's like you try to test it and see how much you can get away with, whatever. You know what I mean? Like teenagers, right? Okay. I did every single thing that Larry said, who's my division manager. I can't wait to introduce y'all to him. In Atlanta, we'll have a big conference for SC2, like, way down the road. But here's the deal. I did do everything right. I only saw HM3s. Once I got good and I was at least over 20K, if I had a divorced lady that lived in a nice neighborhood and had money and I knew kids still lived there and she cooked, I would do an appointment with her once I got good. But I would never see a single person when I'm newer. Does that make sense? Okay. I always saw HM3s. Okay. Somehow, some way, I must have done a demo for someone and not qualified my recommendations properly. That's why I'm smashing that with y'all, so y'all don't make the mistake that I did. Because see, I can teach y'all through things that I did right. I can also teach you when I got messed up and I learned from it. Makes sense? Now, but the point is, somehow, some way I got recommended to a lady. And then again, 99% of the time, this would never happen. I see an HM3. How did I end up to a lady in the projects? Right? I have no freaking clue. You with me? But anyways, so I'm booking this demo. She's like, oh yeah, apartment 3C, right? I'm like, all right, like I've never, like everyone else all lived in a house, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, and I didn't even know what to do. Like I should have like rescheduled probably, but I'm new. I'm like, okay, see you then, right? Okay. Anyways, here's the point. Okay. Then as I'm pulling up, I didn't realize it was in Cedar Point. Okay. Now I'm sure you've never heard of this neighborhood. Okay, but there's X amount of murders a year. Are you with me? We're talking the straight up hood, the straight up projects. We're talking about government living, government assisted living. You with me? And she was literally on food stamps. She like let me know that she was on food stamps. Are you with me? Her and her teenage daughter slept in her whole apartment or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's still an apartment. It was the size of this room, right? You walk in the front door, it's like their living room and the kitchen attached, right? And then there's like a bedroom there and a bathroom there that they split. And they slept on the same bed. And I went to use the restroom and I noticed their bedroom because the door was open. It was just a mattress laying on the floor that her and her teenage daughter sleep in the same bed. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So in the projects, okay, guess what I sold? A freaking homemaker plus 8. A freaking homemaker plus 8 for someone who supposedly cannot afford living because their government says they can't afford food because they're on food stamps. Hey, it lives in the freaking projects. Does that make sense? Okay. Bam. Homemaker plus 8. Right. What do you think that did for my confidence? I'm like, everybody can freaking afford a homemaker. There's no way that these suburban housewives are going to tell me that they cannot afford freaking a homemaker set when the lady and food stamps can get it. Does that make sense? And so I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I feel like God wanted me to do that appointment so I could share that story with every training class forever. Make sense? Everyone can freaking afford a homemaker. They do not need to be wealthy. Now, do they need to have a good job for these guys? I think so. Okay. Right? But this guy, absolutely not. Everybody can freaking afford that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Guys, remember the average household income in Florida was 67K. I've showed you the, I assume Jaden showed you the stats there, right? But whatever, 60K plus 60K, because there's no way that they're feeding a family and surviving on one income of 60 grand. Does that make sense? Both husband and wife are both working if they're making 60K. Right? You add them together, you're at 120 grand. You split over the 52 weeks, they're taking home $2,000 after taxes. They're taking home $2,000 a week. Do you really think they can't afford $90 a week? If it was $1,910, you don't think that they could do that if they wanted to? Of course they can afford it. You understand what I'm saying? The question is, did you do a good enough demo where they wanted to afford it? That's what you have to realize. So take ownership of the results. Everything that happens is because of our appointments. The second that you fully take ownership of your demos, is the second you blow the heck up. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or no? Okay. Now, so all right, you don't need to write these. Okay. All right. Did y'all see that blue Corvette in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and it says Elite C8 on the license plate because we're the Florida Atlantic Elite. Are you with me? Okay, I love this freaking car. Okay, so company buys this BMWs, but either way, I wanted this Corvette when the thing came out. You with me? So that thing is my sexiness. Doesn't I love that car. Like this is my favorite car. I love this car like more than other cars that are even more expensive. I always love Corvettes. Anyways, there's the moral of the story. Your customer, a homemaker 1664, is that right?
Sure.
Hey, your customer that said, I can't, did everyone at least have one person say, I can't afford it?
Yeah.
That's their most common objection that they say, but guess what? They can all afford it. They're gonna tell you what they think that you'll believe because you're a poor, broke, hungry, starving college kid. These are the words that we think of when we think of a college kid. Poor, broke, hungry, starving, ramen noodle, cheap beer party. Does that make sense? Those are the 8 words we think of with a college kid. So of course, what excuse am I gonna give you at the end? Hey, I'm gonna give you the excuse I think you're actually gonna believe. I can't afford that. Right? And you little nuts, y'all are like, okay, me neither, I'm broke too. Does that make sense? Right? Now, so all I'm getting at is that they absolutely can't afford it. Okay. But also you'll understand that everyone's gonna play their best card. And these 40-year-old housewives, and I'm not even saying that, I'm just saying 40-year-old men, it doesn't matter. They're not trained negotiators. You with me? Okay. So anytime someone wants a better deal, what are they gonna say? I can't afford that. Yo, just grab what you want and go.
Clicking.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. All right, now, yeah, I do love you, but I'm like on a time frame. Now, all right, so the so if I go to a car lot, right? And I already know that this is the specific car that I want. And I know that it's 60 grand. Let's just say hypothetically, right? And the sticker price is 60 grand. What does everyone say to the salesperson? 60 grand? I can't afford that. And every salesperson understands they're saying, give me a better deal. It's not that they couldn't freaking afford it. They want a better deal. Okay. I would write that down. Your customers just want to feel like they win. That's really important concept that you get there. And I would highlight that. They could afford it. They want to feel like they won. No one's going to say yes to the first offer. I wouldn't either. Right. So then what do they say to the car person? I can't afford that. Right? It's like, oh, let me talk to my manager and see what I can do. Well, he already knows what the bottom line is on each vehicle. You with me? And so he's going to come back to her and say, hey, I can go ahead and get it down to 57,999. Basically take 2 grand off, right? And I can give you free XM radio for a year and free car washes that are a lot for a year. Right? Well, that worked for you. She says, deal, right? Okay. Think about it. The payments are probably like a $20 difference. Are you with me?
Yeah.
She could have afforded the other one, but she wants to feel like she got the best deal. Does that make sense? So I'm about to give you some sick, nasty discounts on each set, okay, where they're gonna freaking get. Make sense? Okay, but understand, okay, that it's never the dollar amount, it's always the value. But write that down. It's never the dollar amount, it's the value. So again, your customers that said, I can't afford that 1664. Guys, if I told them I would give them my car, it's paid for, there's no payments, it's all paid in full. If I said I would just give them my car and sign the title over to them, for $1,664, would they all have bought the car? Yes or no? Of course. Oh yeah, they had way more than that in the bank account. Think about that. I know y'all don't get this yet, but when you buy a home, okay, that's why we see homeowners. When you buy a home, you put 20% down when you buy the home. Because if you don't, then you get hit with something called PMI, which is extra unnecessary fees from the bank because you're a high risk because you didn't even have 20% to bring to the table. Does that make sense? Almost everyone puts 20% down. Does that make sense? Now, guys, a normal average home, let's just call it 500K. We're not talking about something really nice here. Okay. I don't care. We can even go 400K, which is not a nice house. It's an okay. Let's go $400,000 house at 20%. Guys, they wrote a check at one time for $80,000. Do you understand? We literally wrote a check for 80 grand at one time. And then, of course, we're going to have money set aside to remodel things because it's probably not the exact way we want it for 400K, right? But no matter what, we at least have 10K in an emergency fund in case there's a freaking leak in the roof or something. Does that make sense? Right? When you own a home, it's not like there's landlords who say their refrigerator broke. No, you're going to the store and you're dropping 3 grand a month. You see what I'm saying? Think about this, okay? If your mom's refrigerator, every lady who told you, oh, I can't afford $90 a week because we'll split it up over almost half a year, all right? But let's say their refrigerator dies today. Literally, right now, it just died. Okay, they have 2 options. Dig a hole in the backyard and throw ice in it and put all your food there, right? Or get a new refrigerator. Which one is 100% of them going to do? They're all going to get a new refrigerator. Well, if they got a poopy refrigerator, it'd still be $1 grand. And if they got a nice one, it'd be 2 or 3. Does that make sense? No problem. Here, does that make sense? Right? If you were driving down the road, all right, we'll go to the tire example. Okay. If you were driving down the road and all 4 of your tires blew out, right? And let's say mommy and daddy don't pay your bills, right? How long is that car going to sit on the side of the road? A while, all right? Okay, because you don't just have $1 grand, right? To just put on tires. Most likely, maybe, I don't know, but most of your generation would, right? But how long would it take an adult to get the tires fixed? That day, it's like, AAA tow it to this place, do you have 4 tires ready to go for this car? Okay, cool, my car will be there in an hour. Does that make sense? And it's not a big deal, you see what I'm saying? Right? So. You just, you know what, this will probably be probably your most important thing, one of them, okay? I want you to write down when you're on page 9. So write when on page 9. Actually, heck, just go ahead and flip to page 9. Okay, so this is the part where we're like, hey, it's 1,600, you wanna get it? It's $90 a week, lady. Y'all don't write down the weeklies?
Yeah, maybe that's what. We only write down some.
Okay, but y'all are showing them the picture with the weekly on it when you say
Yes,
you're not good,
yes.
right? Okay, alright, so on the top of page 9, and like. You know, or maybe where it's like, do you wanna get it? Hey, here's what I want you to do. So, somewhere on this page where it's gonna smack you in the face so obvious, whether it's here, which I don't know if that's the best one, I might turn it sideways right here. And I want you to write, think like an HM3, and then highlight it. Think like an HM3. See, when you're saying, do you wanna get this set right at 1664? And you're thinking like a poor, broke, hungry, starving college kid that eats ramen noodles. Right? Then you're probably not gonna sell as many. You see what I'm saying? But when you're literally thinking like this, hey lady, like you don't say this, but your body language is, right? Hey, listen, lady, it's $90 a week. Okay, like there's no way that you can not afford this, and you'd be silly not to, because if you don't buy mine, you're gonna spend $2 grand more on Walmart and you're gonna hate them. You like it, you want it, and I know that you can afford it. Hey, I'll give you something for free. What's up? Do you want to make this happen? Are you with me? Again, the words don't say that, but the confidence says that, right? Because you're gonna sell what you expect to sell. Does that make sense? Everybody can get a freaking homemaker. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, my 10-year-old can't, right? If he cleans the koi pond and helps with stuff like waters the plants and stuff, whatever. I mean, he gets $10 for that and $10 for that, right? But I mean, heck, he can almost buy like a studio set at 10 years old. You know what I mean? When he gets an A, he gets $5 from his grandma. So usually he'll get 6, I guess. You know what I'm saying? There's another, you know what I mean? Right? Like, come on, seriously? Okay. So all I'm getting at is every single one of them would buy my car for 1664, yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Of course they would, right? So it's not the dollar amount. We know it's not the dollar amount. Did you build the value high enough, higher than the price? Right? That's what it comes down to. Make sense? And are you asking with confidence? Again, you don't have to write this part, but understand, right? If someone needed to drive to Miami and back because their sister, like your aunt, was, had an emergency, they're not gonna be like, I don't have gas money to drive there and back. Hey, that'd be $90, and then you gotta include tolls. Think about this. My wife spends around at least 100 something bucks a month just on tolls. You see what I'm saying? How about your parents do too? Right? That's just to not have to stop at lights and get there 5 minutes faster. Do you see what I'm saying? Of course they can get a freaking homemaker, right? If they got a speeding ticket, they're not gonna pay it, right? Okay, if their insurance goes up, they're not gonna sell their car and ride a Huffy bicycle, right? Hey, everyone's utility bill goes up in the summer because it's hot and the AC is gonna be running more. Hey, they're not gonna be like, I can't afford the $90 difference. All right, cut the electricity off, let's light candles and sing Kumbaya for entertainment, right? Like, give me a freaking break, right? Okay, so the next thing I'd write down are knives are a necessity, everyone must have them. Knives are a necessity, everyone must have them. Knives are a necessity, everyone must have them. You have to realize we're not asking the lady, are you gonna spend the money on knives? I'm telling her, right? You are going to spend thousands of dollars on knives, one way or the other. Option one, you can waste $3 grand on Walmart and hate your life every time you use them. Option two, you can spend 2 or 3 grand with Wusthof or Shun, right? Or option three, you can spend 1,600 with Cutco, okay, and never have to buy another knife again, save a lot of money and be happy forever. And then your kids will save 4 grand and your kids will save 4 grand. Do you want to save 10 grand and be happy? Well, it's $90 a week. Does that make sense? So simple. Like, this is not rocket science, guys, right? Like, in general, women will buy products based on emotions and men buy products based on logic, right? Well, I want to just hit on both, right? You like it, you love it, it'll make your life amazing, and it'll look pretty, it'll match your stuff. Also, it's going to save you a lot of freaking money. Why would you not? You see what I'm saying? Right? So understand, okay, they're going to spend, you don't need to write it, but well, you can, right? They're going to spend 2 or 3, they're going to spend 3. All right, here, don't write that. Let's do this. Off topic, I'm just going to give you 2 random tips real quick that you don't necessarily need to write down. I do want you to focus more on face to face. We already talked about that. Okay, when you do have stay-at-home moms, and again, you don't need to write it because it'll make sense when I say it out loud. You have X amount of moms that are home that don't work, or teachers that are off for the summer. Make sure that you don't put them in evening or weekend time slots where everyone else could have fit. Okay, put the stay-at-home moms between Monday and Friday between 8 and 5. Make sense? Because you only have so many people that can fit that, and we're trying to match out our schedules, at least for your fast start. Okay, and then don't leave messages. There is one of you, I think. Okay, you never want to leave messages, right? Okay, what did your message say?
My message?
Yeah. All right, leave a message after the beep, beep.
I basically said,
No, just tell me, after the message, leave a beep, beep.
hi, my name is Trey. I'm so-and-so's kid, and I started a new job at Cutco, and if you want to make an appointment with me, I have these time slots available.
Okay. All right, never in your life do you ever want to do this, okay? So grab what you need quickly, and y'all need to from now on stop this, because y'all are so long.
No,
This
I don't
guy-
know where Jaden puts them. That's fine.
Well, that's a great question for Jade. Now, what are you looking for?
Welcome to training sheets.
Okay, excellent. All right, now, so the all right, what were we just talking about for everyone wants to come to the front of the room and look in the dang drawer when I'm running, you know. I think everybody wants, I'm gonna have to give this, let me just give Mr. Nasty up. Okay, that'll slow him down on it. Okay, managers keep Mr. Nasty out in case receptionists come interrupting. All right, okay, all right, what was the last thing I just said?
Don't be messing.
Never in your life do you want to leave a message, right? Okay, now, and also I wouldn't even do it like that anyways, right? If I was, so. All right, and now, by the way, I bet everyone else would, by the way, I'm absolutely is not picking, right? This is Trey Harris. I'm Jan Harris's son. I work with Cutco, and I have appointments that I want to fill tomorrow at 9, 10:30, 12, 1:33, 4:36. Wednesday at this, call me back for an appointment time. What do you mean? I'm like, delete? Does that make sense? Right? Okay, so first, by the way, don't leave any messages, right? After I've called them at least 10 times and they haven't answered, then I would send them a text and I would say, this is Trey Harris, Jan Harris's son. I had a quick question about a scholarship I'm working on. Does that make sense? Okay, so scholarship I'm working, everyone's wanting to see you because it will help you with their scholarship, right? Not because Cutco knives and they want to buy stuff. Does that make sense? Hey, so I would never leave a message, okay? If I was to ever leave a message, I would make sure at the end I left it open for me to call back. Because if you leave messages, hey, and they don't call you back, then you're gonna end up feeling weird calling them back. But you're gonna need to get over it because we're gonna need to call them back, okay? But if I was ever, I'd be like, so if you can give me a call back by Wednesday, that would be great. If I haven't heard from you by Wednesday night, I'll try you back then. Do you see how now I made it where it doesn't feel weird for me to call him back? Sorry, told him if you don't call me by then, I'm gonna call you back on this day. Thing always about Sunday and Wednesday is our big phone times. You with me? But I do like what Isaiah, right?
Yes.
Okay, what Isaiah says, like, 48 hours, right? Making sure you guys have the next 48 hours booked. All right, listen. Okay, now that I'm done with those randoms, geez Louise. All right, okay, are y'all going to their drawer and counting how many knives they have? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thumbs up, you did that on every appointment, thumbs down, you did not. And on a virtual demo, y'all had them take the computer, go to the drawer, you saw with your eyes what they had and made them count it, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, you wanna see with your eyes, because if they only have plastic, then the sticks will move on wood, does that make sense? There's no point in me telling you what's wrong with a black chair if you don't own one, does that make sense, right? Now, so, all right, so one, you need to make sure you do the field trip fund college college kid thing, right? Oh, field trip time, right? How many they have, but listen. The end time sheet is used, is designed to be a guide for you to do their real numbers. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say your lady had 24 knives. Okay, so. So Miss Jones, so you have 24 knives, is that right? You're my pretend Miss Jones. Is that right? Okay. Now, would you agree that they're $10 for a small one, probably, 15 or 20 for a big one, so we'll call it, whatever, 10, 15 bucks. Alright, so let's just even lowball it and let's just go $10. Hey, so Miss Jones, did you realize that you have $240 worth of knives currently in that drawer? Right? Yeah, most people don't think about it, it's just something that accumulates, right? Now, how long, Ms. Jones, it's important, I'll teach you how to write it, but it's important how you phrase this with the face and everything. Hey, because if not, you could lead them to the wrong answer. Okay, how long do you think that $10 Walmart knife is actually going to stay sharp and work well?
I'd say a year.
And they always say 6 months to a year. I've only had it in my whole life. Hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 plus demos, right? Did one person say 2 years, right? Alright, yeah, so probably a year, but you're probably not gonna throw it away the second it goes dull. You're probably gonna keep using it to justify your purchase. Let's just say every 2 years you replace them. Does that sound fair? Alright, so you Miss Jones, and then see, I'm thinking about her, like if she's 40, then I'm gonna go 20 replacements because she's gonna live till 80, but I don't say it that way. If she's 50, right, I'm gonna go 15 replacements because that's 30 years. Does that make sense to everybody, right? So go with what you feel with the lady. So in this scenario, let's say that she's 40. Well, Miss Jones, that means that you're gonna replace them 20 times. So just so you know, that's $4,800, hey, that your family is going to waste on knives. Okay, and I'm gonna circle it, I'm gonna underline it 3 times, and I take my piece of paper and I stick it right in between the husband and the wife and say, I just want you to know that number, because at the end of the appointment, when I tell you the price of Cutco, I don't want you to fall out of your chairs, because the stuff's expensive. See, I don't know about you, but my first weekend, I didn't sell big. Okay, it's because the only reason I sold 3 grand is so many $300 orders, right? Because I did more appointments than all of you. Does that make sense? Hey, but I realized in advanced training one that I was doing them freaking completely backwards. I was very stupid of myself. Hey, and I was acting throughout the demo like it wasn't expensive because I was afraid if I said expensive too much, they might be like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds too expensive." You see what I'm saying, right? And Larry, I remember exactly quote unquote in advanced training. He said, "Trey," and because he met with me one on one, he was like, "Trey, you're gonna tell him it's expensive one way or the other. You can either act like it's not expensive all the way through the demo, and then at the end surprise them, be like, surprise, it's expensive. Do you want to get it?" And then they're gonna say, "Oh, that's too expensive." Or you can just tell them from the jump, right? Like right once we're in their house, right? It's expensive, and keep building it up, and at the end it's less, and then they're like, "Wow, I'll get it because it's less than I thought." Either way, you're gonna tell them it's expensive. Make sense? So do not shy away from the word expensive is what I'm getting at. Does that make sense? You want to own that, right? Now, all right, I did their numbers, right? So now at the end, I wish the lady would tell me I can't afford it. Please tell me you can't freaking afford it, right? Okay, so Miss Jones, do you want to get the homemaker and get the shears free? Okay, so. Okay, so it's just a little too much for the budget, is that right? Okay, so out of curiosity, Miss Jones, do you like Cutco? Right? And if you had it in your kitchen, would you use it or would you use that other stuff? Now look at their Walmart knives. Or would you use that other stuff? Okay, so you like it and you'd use it, the main thing's money, is that right? Okay, completely understand. Well, Ms. Jones, I'm sure we can both agree that if you're gonna live, you've gotta eat food. Right, and if we're gonna eat food, we have to have knives to cut the food. You're not gonna rip apart onions and raw meat with your bare hands, right? Right, so the way I see it is you really only have 2 options. Okay, so option number one, right, is that we can waste $4,800 on Walmart and be unhappy every single time that you use it, right? Or option number two, we can invest. Was it 1664? 1664 on Cutco. Be ridiculously happy every time that you use it and save your family over $3,000. Now, you don't have to pay for it all up front. And again, we can split it over 5 months, interest free, almost half a year. And what it will come down to is all you need to do is save $90 a week. That'd be like, Ms. Jones, you save $45 a week, throw it in the jar, let's just cut out on the Chinese food once. Right? And then, Mr. Jones, you save $45 a week, right? And then boom, you got a homemaker plus 8. So listen, I don't need you to make a buying decision today. I just want you to make a trying decision. Hey, I just want you to put 20% down, try it out for half a month, test drive the heck out of it. If it doesn't exceed all your expectations, let me know. We can send it back and you'll get your deposit back. You have nothing to lose. So do you want to save $3,200 and be happy?
Yes.
And what the heck are you gonna say? Right? But y'all have got to bring this back up, right? So I believe that you may be doing it on the junk night page, page 3. But if you're not bringing it back up on page 9, when you say, do you want to freaking get it? Then it doesn't even make sense on why we did it in the first place. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or no? Okay. So yeah, I would probably take a picture of this. Okay, 100%. Okay, and you want to do it. I did it with the smiley faces too. So even a 5-year-old kid would walk up and be like, that one, mommy. Does that make sense? Like the dumbest person on the planet would know to get it. Does that make sense? Okay, so, and notice the words waste this or invest this. Does that make sense? Okay, guys, so that's why it is absolutely critical that you count how many knives they have at the beginning. You do the math equation, whether it's 20 replacements or 15, depending on their age group, okay? And then you gotta bring it back up. You see what I'm saying? It's like trying to impress a girl all semester and then you never ask her out on the date. It's like, why did you even waste the energy to do it? Why on earth would we do this equation and not bring it up to make the sale? You see what I'm saying? Okay, so you just have to understand, back to the notes, and then we'll get into the manual in a second, right? That you're gonna spend $3,000 on knives no matter what. You see what I'm saying? I'm not asking her, right? So it's like, do that or buy Cutco and be happy and save money and get free stuff. You know what I mean? So you don't even really need to write any of that except knives are a necessity. And it's, waste $3,000 on Walmart and be unhappy, or invest 1,600 on Cutco and be happy and save money. At the end of the day, though, you just need to understand it's really a combination of two things. It's either you didn't build the value higher than the price, which we'll go over more in a minute. But most likely, you know what it was? It was they gave you the smokescreen objection. We all know the smokescreen objection, right? Hey, you break up with her. It's not you, it's me. Right? Not how it was you. I just wanted to date somebody else, but you didn't say that. Does that make sense? Right? Or I just need space. Right? Okay, whatever. This is the smokescreen objection. You understand? Her smokescreen objection to the 18-year-old, I can't afford that because they think I believe it. Does that make sense? They could afford it. If their tires blow out, they would get it. If any of these things happen, they would get it. Why? Because we're adults, so we all have money. Make sense? Now, all right. So the two things that I want you to write down: enthusiasm and expensive. I do it in all caps and I would highlight it. Enthusiasm, expensive. Enthusiasm, expensive. Enthusiasm, expensive. I'm so glad we brought the dog back. I used to rock out with them forever. We hadn't had one in here in years. Enthusiasm, expensive, enthusiasm, expensive. If you forget every single thing that I teach you today, all I want you to do is get freaking fired up about Cutco. So excited, like jumping out the dang seat excited. Okay. And own the word expensive, 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 expensive. And when you say expensive, look in their soul with the scared. I just saw a ghost face. It's expensive. the wedge lock handle. This handle is made of thermal resin and it is an expensive material, but it is worth it because does that make sense? Every single time you say expensive, seriously, I want you to stare at them into their eyes and say the word expensive, right? At the end of the day, if they expect it to be $4,000 and it's 1,600, they're freaking buying. Does that make sense? Okay. So your whole job is stick in front of the HM3s and build the value higher than the price. There you go. Got it?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Flip to your phone approach, okay, very quickly, because now I have got literally like 14 minutes, okay? So here's so I'm gonna have to fly through this and I'm gonna just hit on the most important things. Okay, but your phone approach, which is page like 24. Okay, here's the deal, okay, if you didn't highlight, hey, did everybody, okay. Did everybody highlight the freaking things where it says, this is great, this really helps me out, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone has a vertical highlight right here, is that correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent, okay, all right, again, hey Jaden. Okay, now. All right, so. All right, so just make sure that you're doing this for time's sake, so it's like so simple, right? Great, thanks a lot, this really helps me out. Hey, this appointment is really, really important to me, and I'm counting on it to keep my schedule booked. So if something comes up. And you have to reschedule. I won't get paid for this time slot. So, do you have a pen in your calendar nearby? Take your time, I'll wait. I mean, I've had kids say it completely backwards there. They're like, if you need to reschedule, that's okay, let me know. What the heck do you think? Of course they're gonna reschedule. I would too. Does that make sense? Right? It's like, basically, here's what I actually would say, right? So if something comes up and you have to reschedule, I won't get paid for this time slot. I won't get the $20 and I'm gonna lose out on the amount of appointments I need to do to earn my scholarship. Does that make sense, right? Like, whatever, sad face, don't reschedule them. Do you have a pen and a calendar nearby? Take your time, I'll wait. People don't just walk around with their calendar. It takes them a solid 10 seconds to grab it, okay? Make sure that they write down your first name, last name, the appointment time, right? Okay, make sure that the spouse can be there if possible, give them the confirmation number, let them know that your boss might call. Right, and then thank the living daylights out at the bottom bullet and then obviously get their home address, so you know where the heck to go. Right, or if it's a virtual demo, get their email address, and then you want to make sure that you email them your goals page. So they see your cute little self and your family and why you're working hard, and they're less likely to reschedule on you. Does that make sense? Hey, by the way, I don't know that y'all knew that. Did you know that you should email your goals page, right? Hey, so that's something I would write somewhere. Hey, that's why you want to get their email address if it's a virtual demo, so that you can email them your goals page and it's like, thank you so much. I'll be sending you the link right before the appointment. Does that make sense? Okay, and then everyone with your pen, underline that thank you, the last bullet, just to thank you 3 times. See, the more you thank them, so the last bullet, thank you, thank you. This is literally how I sounded and I booked them all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I know that an hour with a college kid may not mean the world to you, but or mean a lot to you, but it means the world to me. I'm working so hard for this scholarship. You freaking rock, Michelle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How good does she feel when she hangs up the phone? She feels like she just adopted everyone in Somalia and saved the manatees. Does that make sense? Hey, well, when she feels that good about it, then how bad would she feel the opposite, that bad about herself if she canceled or rescheduled? You see what I'm saying? Plus, I want to make her feel good because she is doing me a favor and I do want to genuinely thank her. So obviously it's the right thing to do and it helps you. So you should really overthink them. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now make sure that you're only booking with those dang wipes. Okay. Did you highlight wipes? You didn't highlight anything because you never took a highlighter because you're taking them. Highlight, always talk to the wife and only take definite appointments. Y'all have that highlighted or not?
Yeah.
Why do some of you not? Right? So always talk to the wife, no matter what. Men do not care. They will say no, and they don't know the dang schedule. Make sense? talk to the wife, and only a definite no. They're like, I think anything, I think that might, it could, it should, that's not an appointment. I think that you could come over, Romeo, around 2 o'clock on Saturday could possibly work, right? And we all are, you're like, okay, great. High five me, give me a ticket. That ain't no freaking appointment. It's gonna reschedule on you. Does that make sense? Right? Because clearly there were so many words that told you that, right? So then at that point, I'd be like, it sounds like you're not 100% sure 2 o'clock on Saturday would work. What specifically do you have going on? Oh, your husband has a golf tournament and you're driving around. Okay, cool. Well, then would 6 p.m. work? Oh yeah, 6 o'clock will definitely work. Oh, great. Let's just do 6 then. You see what I'm saying? Don't take a tentative appointment. Okay. Now, all right. The all right, maybe for time's sake, take a picture of this real quick, okay? And then for everyone in the computer, we should have probably, I wouldn't changed anything, but I'd like to have given a little bit more time, but watch how I hit all these things and like 10 minutes. Now, all right, so if they ever say my knives are fine, understand what caused it. The junk knife page. You see what I'm saying? Right? So if they ever say too expensive, I can't afford, what they're really saying is, I thought it was gonna be 800. You told me it's 1,600. I don't know, that's too expensive. I don't want to spend more than I thought it was worth. Does that make sense? Right? And if they ever say not now, I want to think about it, it comes back to the 15-day money back guarantee, put a 20% refundable deposit down, try it out for half a month, make sure you love it. Does that make sense? Yes, yes? Okay. Now, all right, if they ever say it's too many pieces, then clearly, right, then we didn't get a yes on each of the tools, okay, on the names and uses. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay. All right, so let's rock and roll. We are about to fly through this demo and I'm going to give you a couple pointers on each page. Make sense? And the notes that you take for the rest of the day need to go on your manual, not on your notepad. Y'all can close your notepads. Now, all right. First thing that I would do, nice job. Look at that hustle. Okay. All right. Now, and then Lee, if you want to just make sure that we have plenty of rope and leather, Jaden or whoever, Amelia, whomever, to hand people when we get done, so we can just throw it at them because I'm gonna go 2 minutes over. Okay. Thank you. All right, so let's go on to page 1. Okay. Now we're just gonna do it together here. Okay. Doing this, man. Okay, beat you. Now, all right. Try not to. Let's just get this twitch. I gotta do it. Okay, now, all right. So look, guys. Okay, all right. When you get to their house, make sure you're playing with the kids and pets. Make sure they love you. Make sure they initiate the appointment. Y'all are all doing the appointment on a hard surface like a countertop, a dining room table, or kitchen table. Yes.
Sir.
Okay. All right. Now, okay, before you start the appointment, think about the knives you have, okay, and raid their freaking fridge. It's what you do best. Okay. So, so before you even get to, you care about, is it okay if I share my goals and all that? Okay, maybe at the top of the page, right, raid the fridge. On page 1, raid the fridge. Now, so right now, what do y'all have? Y'all have a paring knife, a trimmer, and a petite carver. Is there any other knife?
Steak knife and the peeler as well.
Okay, all right. So really, that was based on how many friends you recommended. So yeah, you got the steak knife and peeler, most of you. Now, so the only thing with the paring knife is, I would think about, okay, strawberries, or see, also all the food you cut, you eat. You with me? You see my top kids, they're getting like dinners, they're getting fed. You know what I mean? Like your goal should be to get food on every demo too, right? But right now you don't have a lot, right? So what I would be thinking about would be like something with the paring knife. So maybe where it says raid the fridge right now, think about something with the paring knife, whether it's peeling an apple or tops out of strawberries, right? Okay. With the trimmer, I would see, what are they cooking for dinner? I'd always ask that question and put it in there. What are you cooking? Are you cooking dinner tonight? I'd love to help you with the food prep. Because if I'm telling you right now, if they're cutting a raw chicken breast with that trimmer, dude, they are buying a lot because that is unbelievable. Okay. Now, so, all right, are you planning on cooking dinner for your family tonight? I'd love to help you with the food prep. Finish the whole thought out. Okay, so are you cooking dinner for your family tonight? I'd love to help you with the food prep. Okay, and then let's make sure that we are grabbing stuff to cut And you should always bring, what 2 things do you bring on every appointment? What food? My man, grapes and carrots, okay? Alright, now. Okay, you share your goals, you all made a goals page? Yes, okay, now have you, and you've also downloaded the slide deck, right? Have you all done that or not? Okay, did you insert your goals page into the slide deck? Y'all are so good, cause now I can just click along the way, right? Okay, excellent, alright. Now, why am I sharing my goals? So they're tied into why I'm working so hard so that they wanna help me, right? Cause I'm telling you, all the time, they're debating between a big set or a medium set or a medium or a small, and if I can tell you're goal oriented and you care, I'm gonna buy the big one. You see what I'm saying? So share your goals with them, right? Now, then at the bottom, it says, do you cook because you like to, love to, or have to? The very bottom line on page 1, okay, I'd write it on a customer notepad. I want you to literally have a notepad for every single client. Like just one piece of paper, guys. You with me? Okay, and that's the first thing that I'd write. So this is your customer notepad, by the way, right? And then the first thing I'd write is, likes to cook. Right? So anytime she says likes to cook, right, then what you should be thinking about is probably a signature set. Loves to cook, I'm thinking probably a complete set. I just have to cook because I want to feed my kids Chick-fil-A every day. Probably the basic. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, but I'm gonna write that down there first. Okay, Jaden, just get this review. This will help training. Okay, now. Okay, all right, for the penny. Okay, so now let's flip to page 2. Okay, all right, so, all right, it says field trip to the kitchen, count the knives. So you said y'all were all doing that. That's the next thing. So this has now been written down. That's the beginning of the notepad. And then this, we're not doing all of this yet. Right, but all you did is write 24 knives. Does that make sense? So you need to write down how many they have. Got it? Yes, yes? Okay. All right, so you want to have it written down there. Now, guys, is anyone having issues cutting the penny? Yes or no?
Little bit,
Okay, now are you using a cutting board?
yeah.
Okay, and then you're opening it up, leaning on it, lock the elbow, okay? So, if you wanna stay 1 minute late, then I'll have you do it with Jaden, okay, cause you need to feel confident, cause what I found is if people are not feeling confident with it. Then they don't do it, and it's like, that's the most impressive thing that we do, that's the attention graph, right? Now, so, alright, and then are y'all all peeling a carrot? I bet, no, I bet you're not. Alright, who cut a carrot on each appointment? Okay, okay, no, but that's this, you see what I'm saying? Right, so the whole carrot is like spilled, right? Okay, you gotta do carrots, and carrots are cheaper anyways, right? So these are things that you wanna be taking notes on right now, because I emphasize for your training classes, right? So never should they ever do a demo without grapes and carrots, and we already established that. Now, so, and then you gotta make sure that we bring it up on the recommendations, right? Okay, alright, on the junk knife page. Okay, so now, no, we're on page 3. Okay, now, so the purpose of this page, you nail this page, they're gonna buy something. I want you to understand that this page determines your sales ratio, right? So it's either 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 people will buy based on our UCNH and 3s. This page determines your sales ratio, right? So when you are getting to that wood handle, you need to get everything involved in it. So I'm pressed for time, okay, and so are you, just feel me. Don't just say there's more bacteria in one wood handle than there's in public toilet bowl. Paint the picture of the 7-Eleven, going to the gas station, literally lift up the toilet bowl. So take your bare hand, not just on the rim, but in the bowl, literally do it at an angle like you are literally rubbing your hand on a toilet bowl, right? And then not wash your hands, drive home and prepare a meal for your family, right? And she's like, when you do it, right? Right? Like I literally just did it or something, right? Hey, yeah, that would be more sanitary than the wood handles, right? If they don't have any wood handles in their home, make your point and then focus on plastic, right? So Miss Jones, have you ever been to a water park ever in your life? And she says, yes, right? And every single one of the slides were made of some form of plastic. Well, then you add water to the plastic and you slide all the way down. I want you to do your hand like this, just like the water slide, right? Now, Miss Jones, right? Water and plastic equal slippery, right? Okay, and slide down. If there were stainless steel blades at the bottom of the slide, would you go down it? No, would you send your children down it? No, so why on earth would we want to do that in our kitchen multiple times a day, right? The plastic handles are made of plastic. Your hands got wet, oily, greasy, or slimy every single time you cook. And when you grab a cheap plastic knife that's dull and you're pushing down really hard, you can easily slip and end up cutting yourself. Does that make sense, Miss Jones? Right? So plastic handle is extremely unsafe. So know your point and smash it. So wood, unsanitary. Plastic, unsafe. I'll be smashing this on just the beginning of day one on this, right? So the one word that's wrong with wood is what? It's nasty, right? I would always do that on all of them, Jaden, right? Plastic handle, what's wrong with it? Okay, all right, brass rivets, what's wrong? Okay, unsanitary, mold, right? Partial tang, what's wrong? They don't really care about the balance because they're not chefs, right? It's that they're gonna fall apart, right? Because they're gonna wiggle around, so it's gonna be unsafe, and they're gonna break, and you're gonna have to replace them a lot, right? Carbon steel, they're probably no one's gonna have that, but your great grandmother, right? But so they don't have it, stick and move on it, right? But what's the one word that you think about with carbon steel? Yeah, rust, unsanitary. Stainless steel, what's wrong? Which means goes dull, which means because your customers aren't sharpening their knives. You get that, and you can't even sharpen a serrated edge. And almost all Walmart knives are serrated. Are you with me? Okay, now, so the bottom line, what's wrong with the stainless steel? It goes dull. You're gonna have to buy new ones, and you keep wasting money, right? So here's what I want y'all to write here. Okay, this is big. Okay, turn your book sideways like we did the other one. I want you to write keep wasting money. So everybody sees this. I want you in all caps, keep wasting money. I want you to smash, keep wasting money on every single one. Wood handles are unsanitary, blah, 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 toilet bowl. And no one wants to use unsanitary products. So you have to replace it over and over. And you keep wasting money. Plastic handles, chip, crack, break, and melt. No one's going to use a chipped up, crack, and broken melted knife. So you have to replace it over and over. And you keep wasting money. Partial tangs, they're gonna fall apart and you can't use a broken knife, or you have to replace it over and you keep wasting money. The ribs expand and contract, you get mold around, you don't want mold in your hands when you're cooking for your family. Keep wasting money. Carbon steel gets rusted, you don't rust in your food, keep wasting money. Stainless steel goes dull, you have to, like razor blades, you have to replace it over and over and you keep wasting money. You should be smashing, keep wasting money on every one of those. Highlight that. Hey, on every single bullet point that you're hitting on this page, smash, keep wasting money. The purpose of this page is to identify a need in our product. Now I know that my stuff is unsafe, unsanitary, and I'm wasting tons of money. Guess what? I'm gonna buy yours. Okay, now on the next page, because we gotta fly. Okay, so make whatever note you needed to first. Okay, make sure we get point one before we get to point two. All right. Didn't Jaden already have y'all highlight the word expensive on each of these?
Yes.
Okay, now you should have 5 expensives. Okay, all right, now, so in your own words, okay, the first thing we talk about is the White Lock handle. So why is ours good?
Because it fits in your hand, it's designed to fit in your hand.
All right, so the main thing will be safety. So yes,
Yeah.
okay, so expensive, I want you to highlight the last word, which is safe. Okay, so I want you to say it's expensive and it's gonna be safe. It's not gonna slip out like the other ones, right? Okay, on the second one, which is thermal resin, expensive, okay, and then highlight the last word, which is sanitary there. Expensive, sanitary. Miss Jones, these are 100% non-porous. Nothing's gonna absorb into it. You can take this pearl handled knife, okay, and stick it in a glass of red wine for days. Okay, pull it out, throw it in the dishwasher, it'll be pearly white. Nothing absorbs, it's gonna be sanitary. Right? So it's expensive, but it's sanitary. All right, cool. Then the next one is what? The full tang. Okay, yeah, so I would just write, yeah, I would highlight strength and balance there. Okay, so it's expensive, but it's gonna give you strength and balance, and so it's not gonna fall apart. You don't have to put your hand on the top to try to make it level to cut through stuff. Right? The fourth one is what? What's the steel? Okay, so the main thing that you want to stress there is sanitary. I would like underline sanitary a few times. Not even so much the sharp, but it is both, right? But it's never gonna rust, right? It's gonna be good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, right? And then the double D edge, right? It's super expensive, right? But I mean, it's gonna stay sharp for 7 to 10 years, you know what I mean? Okay, so that's that. So, but look, do not shy away from that word expensive. Miss Jones, hey, that handle is expensive. But it's worth it because it's non-porous, nothing will absorb into it, so it's gonna be very sanitary for you and your family. I want you to write at the top. Or actually, you can turn your book sideways again and write for you and your family. See, people are gonna limit, hey. People are gonna limit how much money that they're gonna spend on themselves. If your customer, your 40-year-old house, your Miss Jones, is feeling like this is a selfish purchase because I'm the one that does the cooking, then she's gonna limit how much she spends. When she views it as what it is, which is a family purchase, the refrigerator is not for mom, it's for the whole family. Same for the food, the knives to cut the food, feed the family, right? So for you and your family, and then highlight that. So in other words, it's gonna be sanitary for you and your family. Gonna be safe for you and your family, right? It's gonna stay sharp for you and your family, you and your family, you and your family. Okay, now. All right, the forever guarantee, go hard on this 20% refundable deposit, right? Now, so again, right, what I like, basically what I like to say to them, and it's highlighted, you have it, but everybody feel me on this. Just kind of look at me real quick because we're over time. Okay, your customer is on what I call the customer seesaw at the end. The 1664, do you want to get it? Right? Oh no, I really like it. I'm not sure. Right? And if you can say the one right thing, they get it. The one right thing is Miss Jones. And I can see that you're kind of on the seesaw right now. Most people just put a 20% refundable deposit, try it out. I'll give you the super shoes for free. If you don't love it, if it doesn't exceed all your expectations, we'll send it back and you can get your deposit back. It's only $90 a week. Hey, so it's like skip the Chinese food twice. And have a side of Cutco. By the way, and it's gonna end up saving you do this, and it's gonna end up saving you $3,000. So do you want to save $3,000? Make sense, right? But you just, I'm telling you, out of the $205,000 I personally sold, I'm telling you at least 105,000 was because of that guarantee. And by the way, this is like probably like a oh my gosh moment. But just know that it's okay to go backwards in the demo slides. Right? So if I'm closing, do you want to get the homemaker? Oh, I just want to think about it. Then go backwards in the slides to the guarantee and reread the 20% refundable deposit and re-emphasize the guarantee, and then come back and close again. But every time you say the price to them, they need to see the picture with the breakdown of the prices, the total price, the monthly, and the weekly. Does that make sense? Never ask them if they want to buy anything without them seeing that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, so smash that on, by the way. Just be real, right? When I'm on that page, and by the way, I stick to the script word for word. I had the whole thing freaking memorized. But then I would say, yeah, Miss Jones, we have a 20% refundable deposit. And when I tell you the price, Cutco's really expensive. And you're gonna wonder, is it worth it or not? That's why most of my customers just do a 20, I'm tiny it, and I always grab my pinky. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. This is 1/5, 20%. Just a tiny 20% refundable deposit. Try it out. If they don't love it, send it back, get their deposit back. You have nothing to lose. But do you see it? I'm like telling them how they're gonna feel in like 20 minutes, so then it's not weird when they feel it, right? Okay, on this page right here, okay, if you had this tool, what would you use it for? Okay, but look, okay, wherever it says 7 knives, 2 forks, and a spatula, so on page 6, it says this is the basic set. Highlight basic set, and then above that, I'd probably write a frowning face, and I want you to highlight 7 knives, 2 forks, and a spatula. Frowning face above basic set, and then highlight 7 knives, 2 forks, and the spatula. Okay, so how you present this set will determine whether you sell a big set or not. Right, so watch this face. So Miss Jones, this is our basic set. It literally consists of 7 knives, 2 forks, and a spatula. How many knives did you say you had in your kitchen again? Oh, 24. Yeah, this is 7. Okay, but we do have 2 larger sets for families. But because I'm new, I'm just gonna start with our basic one. Do you see that, right? And if I'm your customer, I'm like, why are you even showing me this little kid thing? Does that make sense? What's the big one? What's the big one? Okay. Each tool, just make sure you say if you have this tool, what would you use it for? Make sure you get listen to them on what they're gonna use each one for, and at the end, they're never gonna tell you, I don't think I'd use them all. Does that make sense? Okay, and if they ever did, then go back in the slide deck to the picture of all the knives and say, which one do you think you'd never use in the next 30 years? Oh, I guess I'd use them all. Okay, cool. Let me show you a discount one. Make sense? Alright, when you're closing, okay, on page 9, okay, this is the last thing. This is the discount sheet that I wanted to give you, and I appreciate your awesomeness because you gotta go and I gotta go, and we're 10 minutes over. Okay, take one, pass it down. Okay, there's enough for y'all, and then you. Okay, great. Alright, everybody got it? Okay, now, alright, so everyone look up and feel me. Don't even worry about anything. Okay, just know. Cause I'm gonna give you the concept and now you're gonna have your cheat sheet code. Okay, this is your cheat sheet. Remember, I can't afford that means give me a better deal. No one wants to say yes to the first deal. Does that make sense? Hey, by the way, you don't have to start with free stuff. I never would. None of my top people do. So do you want to get the homemaker set and get the solid white oak block for free, the cutting board for free, the sharpener for free, and free shipping from New York to your doorstep? Oh, it's a little too expensive. Hey, Miss Jones, drop down one. Because the average sale is made on the 3rd or 4th attempt. Okay, I don't have time to get into sales philosophies here. I'm trying to give you basics that's relevant to where you're at right now. Hey, but I wouldn't even start with any super shears for free unless it's mom or grandma. And I don't mess around if it's mom or grandma, like hook them up. Don't be nuts. Okay, but they birthed you, give mom the shears. Makes sense. Okay, but then I've dropped down with the shears. If that didn't work, I'm gonna drop down to a discount. So all I need you to understand is look up the difference between a homemaker +8 and the basic homemaker is just the 8 table knives. Make sense? The blocks cost the same whether they cut the slots for the 8 table knives or not. Make sense? So the difference is 8 table knives. Okay, and then if you look at your third like shadered in thing on the left-hand column, it says homemaker +8. Do you see it says savings of $358? Do y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, you see it? Okay, so then everybody look up for me. The difference between the price of a homemaker +8, which is $1664, and the basic homemaker is exactly that price, $358. So feel me on this. So what we can do, if money, whatever, if they're just trying to beat you down to get a good deal, which I would do even if you're my own kid. I'm not buying a homemaker paid in full from Hudson, even though we already have everything. I'm gonna get the discount. I'm gonna make them freaking work for it. Does that make sense? Yeah, here's the point. You can sell them the basic homemaker. Hey, by adding the B to it, it gives the block with the +8 block, which doesn't cost us anything. And then for free gift, we can give them 8 table knives. So now when they open up their box, they have a homemaker +8, but we sold it to them at the basic homemaker price. Now, no shears free. You have maxed out free stuff on this, but this is still better for your customer. And it's a little bit better. It's about the same for you as dropping down to a galley. Does that make sense? But it helps your customer. So you should do it for them, right? So homemaker +8, I can sell it at the basic homemaker price. And then if you look again at the third highlight, it shows you how to do it. It says 1 in the quantity, the item number 2001 CB. Okay, and the C would be classic. If they wanted pearl, you do W. If they wanted red, you do R, right? But the B is the key. That says to Olean, because they're factory workers, they all just know codes, right? The B means the +8 block. And then for free, the X means is what you bonus for free. So it's 8 table knives, 1759C is the table knives, and then you bonus it for free. And so when they open it up, they get a homemaker +8, but they just save $358. Does that make sense? Yes or no?
Sir.
Okay, now just fill me on this, the last thing. So we're dropping down the average sales male on the 4th or 5th attempt, or 3rd or 4th attempt. Hey, here nor there, it's like, do you want to get a homemaker +8 and nothing free? Right? I say free block, free shipping, free cutting board, free sharpener, because that's what comes free. Make sense? If that doesn't work, then I'll throw in the super shears for free. If that doesn't work, then I'm now going down to a discounted homemaker. If that doesn't work, I'm down at a galley, paid in full, nothing for free. But for you, when you're brand new, and do you want to get a homemaker? No, how about a galley? How about a starter set? You're already down to pieces. The higher you start, the higher you finish. I have so much more to teach you, but with our time and where you're at in the business right now after 2 days on the job, that is more than enough to give you the freaking ammo you need to destroy it and crush it today. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, are y'all ready to go out and freaking sell some big sets? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so high five the crap out of me. Grab some rope and leather right here. It's already pre-cut for you. Grab some rope and leather. Make sure you have enough to last you till Wednesday. You get out of here and let's go sell some sets. Sound good? Yes, yes?
Sure.
All right, beautiful. Let's do this thing.
Let me, yeah, I'll try and see.